Truths and stories gotta collide. Alibis get swept aside. I got proof that can't be denied. The data don't lie, people do. Waves crashing, secrets in the tide. Facts and numbers side by side. Through the chaos I will abide. The data don't lie, people do. Look at the records, feel the vibe. Digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. Friends may twist and tongues may tie. Plausible tales shape the sky. In the end you can verify. The data don't lie, people do. It's in the matrix beyond the eye. Hard truth that's flying by. Evidence you can't defy. The data don't lie, people do. Look at the records, feel the vibe. Digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. Feel the vibe, digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. Friends may twist and tongues may tie. Plausible tales shape the sky. In the end you can verify. The data don't lie, people do. Friends may twist and tongues may tie. Plausible tales shape the sky. In the end you can verify. The data don't lie, people do.
Just about 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4.
It's in the matrix beyond the eye. Hard truth that's flying by. Evidence you can't defy. The data don't lie, people do. It's in the matrix beyond the eye. Hard truth that's flying by. Evidence you can't defy. The data don't lie, people do.
Wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. Don't. Hey everyone, I'm not getting this bot to cooperate. I'm trying. God damn it, bot. Why aren't you listening to me? I'll have to play with this a little bit more to work out why it's not working. We were all set to go, Kevy, and it just didn't respond. Now, let me just go and see if it's where I'm typing it. Let's try this one. Hello, everybody. Give it a kick there. Nope. How about... Oh, my God. No, it's not responding to me. And it's typing its replies as me. It's supposed to be typing it. You suck, bot. So, oh yeah. It's showing on the bot screen as the bot. But it's putting them in chat as me. I don't know. God damn it. They changed this thing around so many times. I don't even know what the freaking hell we're doing with at the moment. Let me just check the settings. All right. How about... Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Sorry, we do have... Yeah, it just says... Type that for the command. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Okay, let's get a timer, an interval. Let's say 5 minutes for that. Let's say 15 for that one. That sounds about like Kevy's usual routine. Let's go 5 for that one. And it's a bugger that we can't trigger it ourselves, right? And let's go 20 for that one. Let's see if that works, Kevy. Maybe if I've got on a timer, you can also trigger it. Let's see how that goes. Sorry, guys. We couldn't actually test it until it was on the chat with us. So you just have to handle what we're testing right now. All right. Let's see if that worked. Follow, goddammit. Oh, yeah. It was my birthday yesterday, too. Well, it's working on the timers right now, so we might do a little mucking around with this afterwards when everyone's done with the show, because we got Mel coming on shortly, and I want to get everyone ready for that. So, sidetrack. Sorry about that, guys. Is it working, Kev? Maybe I need you to come over and kick it. So yeah, happy birthday to me. I hit 18,000 subscribers while I was asleep last night. Hey, that's not even what I told you to do. I deleted that one. Come on, but I deleted that one. What the heck are you doing? All right, we got to get a grip on this damn bot. No! All right, Kevy. Like Kevin and I had it all set up, ready to go. And then I said to him, you know what? We just need to test it first, because you know what tech's like, it never does what you want it to do. And I was right. Good thing I know tech, right? All right, let's start saying hello to everyone, because I know that you all are here. Y'all here. So, Kevin, thank you for joining us and modding for me today and playing with this bot thing, as frustrating as it is. Much appreciated. Hey, Shishi, thanks for joining us. El Lee, yay. Too Pretty, thank you. T, hello. Boda Bob, good to see you. And G, hello everyone. And Destiny B, Aqua, OG. How's it going, girl? All right, where are we up to? Phone's mum, again. James Jamison. How's it going, lad? Kim Jong Kanoni. Let me guess, you're a Melanie cupcake. Thanks for joining us. Nikki, who have I not added yet? And our guest has arrived. Hello, how's it going, Mel?
Hey everyone.
So I don't have my camera on because it's like too early in the morning, and I'm still fixing my teeth. Okay, guys, I'm still getting there with the teeth.
I hear a lot of people talking. Is that normal?
You might have my stream on in the background or something running
I
in the
think I had the
background.
stream on.
That's not normal, but it's all right. We're having lots of technical difficulties here today. We at least have the sound working. So, can you guys let me know if Mel's volume is balanced well with mine, or if I'm louder or she's louder, and we can I might just pop hers up a little bit. So, I really enjoyed your show today, Mel.
Oh, thank you.
I've been enjoying watching your posts about the trial. There's some crazy poo going down, right?
It's I think it's worse than I anticipated it to be.
Right.
Like
And so,
it's worse. I could not have imagined the things that I've seen, and I think we're on day 21 right now, and I
yeah,
couldn't even imagine the things that I'm seeing.
right. So when you first started, what did you imagine you were going to see? Like your pre-expectations before you clicked the play. Like you'd already been through the Melly trial, hadn't you? And so you already
Um
had. Sorry.
no, go ahead. I think it was coming off on my end.
Yeah. You already had you already had an expectation of what kind of effery we were gonna see from Melly trial, right?
So I did a little of the Millie trial. Um, I did not the entire, from like May until the end of YSL. And then we did ASAP Rocky together. These are like trials that I've streamed with my community. So
Yeah.
we've done that. We've done like the Naziah Harris. We've done those hearings. Karen Reed was going on at the same time as YSL. So I was very familiar with, hey, there's a lady who she was supposedly drunk and she hit her boyfriend and she's on trial. That's all I knew. And because I just didn't have time to keep up with it. And so one of
Right.
the people I follow on X, she recently started watching it. And so I just kept seeing her tweets. And this was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was like, okay, I've got to see what's going on because I didn't know anything. I didn't read any of I didn't watch any documentaries, any YouTube, any TikToks, nothing. We just jumped in watching trial. So
Right. Right. So I think we all started in the same place before the trial. Most people didn't watch the pre-trial shenanigans, and but I did. I watched from about probably a year into pre-trial shenanigans,
oh
and
wow.
so I already had my jaw on the floor before the trial started. But holy Hannah, the trial was like another level of jaw on the floor. But we all kind of started where you were. So those of us who only watched the trial, we all heard you say, "Oh, they've got video. She done it." You know,
Mm.
it was a done deal. And I think even Total Boy says that when he first heard about, yeah, no, they've got video. It's a done deal. Like that's prima facie evidence. It's on its face. She done it. So that's kind of where we all started as well. But yeah, then you start the trial. So opening statements. What did you think about opening statements? Just going back to Lally's opening statements and Jackson's. It was Jackson. Yeah, Jackson's opening statements. Who did opening statements?
Um,
It was Jackson, wasn't it? It was Mianetti. I've forgotten already.
girl, let me look and see. I have notes over here.
Yeah. I
Um,
think Jackson did closing and Mianetti did opening or something
I
like
think
that.
I think it was Yannetti, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
But Lally's. I was so confused during his statement, and I, like I told my audience, the reason I was confused, I soon learned, was because everyone was connected. It was way too many names for me to keep up with. And you're going into this trial. I don't know anything about this prominent family in Canton. I don't know any of that. So I just kept hearing all of these names. I was getting confused on whose daughter and son and brother and sister.
Yeah.
So I did not like his because I could
Did
not
you
follow.
count? Did you count how many witnesses he said in his opening statements?
No, no, I was lost. I said he lost me. During his Yannetti comes up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm ready to watch this trial because what they're doing. I followed his opening so much better than I did Lally's. He lost me. I wish he would have. I don't know what he could have done, but he could have told his story differently. I did
He
not
didn't
follow
even tell
his.
a story. He didn't even tell a story. He just
It
said,
it was it
here's
was
all our witnesses and here's what they're going to testify. That's pretty much all he did.
I didn't like it though. When your Nettie got up there, I was like, oh,
Bring it
going to
on,
the case
baby.
and you don't know anything. I'm like, oh, so she was framed by these. Oh, I'm ready now. I'm seated and now I'm ready.
Right. He kicked it. He kicked it over Lally. But we did count how many times, how many witnesses Lally listed in his opening statement.
Oh wow,
So
how many?
I
10?
think it was a 20-minute opening statement. He listed 70 witnesses. It was 67 or 77, 70 witnesses or something.
Now I really see why I was so lost. Now I see why I was so lost. Because
Right.
it was way too many names to keep up with. I was taking notes, then I just stopped taking notes. It was way too many people to keep up with.
Right. So welcome to Mel's crew that have joined us.
Yeah, I see
Let
the yellow hearts in the chat. I don't know.
let
I thought I could talk back in the chat, and I can't talk back in the chat. But I see the yellow hearts in the chat.
radio. Let me switch my settings over so they don't have to wait. Hopefully that worked. Oh, it did work today. God, I couldn't get that to switch over yesterday when I was trying. All right, so you don't have to wait 20 minutes now, guys. Sorry, I forgot to switch that before Melly got here. We were still playing with the bot. I set up the bot this morning, and then it didn't work how we thought it was going to work. So maybe it's a subscribe thing, but you use Restream on your channel, right?
No, I use StreamYard. This is my first time actually using this platform.
Yeah, right. So I find that this one gives you a lot more free stuff before you got to pay for things, but obviously not control of the bot.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm new with my during the YSL trial, people kept saying, "Well, why don't you stream? We want to watch with you." Because my TikTok, how I got into it, my TikTok kind of just started blowing up, and I was doing all these updates, and then I just started to notice that everyone was watching with me. So I didn't start streaming till late. So I'm new to all of this software too. I'm still learning it. They'll tell you on my channel, I swipe out of it all the time. I'm still learning. I'm still learning this streaming myself.
okay, so obviously that worked, letting your crowd talk without having to sub to my channel. So there you go. We're all here. So yeah, all right. Where were we? We were talking about opening statements. So back to that. So your general feeling was Lally flopped. That's what we call him,
I
the
didn't like
Lally
it.
flop.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but I will say it set the tone for me. Um, Yannetti's opening set the tone, and it made me really like, okay, I'm seated now. There's a family involved. She's framed. These are police officers. Okay, let's see what this is about. But I did not expect any of what I have heard so far. I didn't expect to hear any of this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I felt that the jury would have been in the same position as you, like snooze through Lally, and then soon as cross or defense speaks up, it's like, okay, I'm up, I'm awake now. What was that you were saying?
I feel like that now, even watching the witnesses, I don't know if it's Lally's voice or the what if any. Who, if any? I mean, I don't know if it's his catchphrase. Something is just not connecting when he's on direct, and then I feel like he drags it out, and then there's that too.
Yeah.
So it's probably just Lally. It's just probably him.
Did you watch any of the Depp v. Heard trial at all?
What trial was it?
Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard.
No, I think it was going on doing YSL. Was that going on through YSL, y'all?
No, that was
No,
like years ago.
no,
But
no. The Johnny. No, this is Amber Heard.
yeah.
Johnny Depp. Okay, yeah. No, wrong trial. Yeah, no.
But during that trial, we had like a record number of what if any's. We all counted through the trial how many times her lawyer said what if any, and she got pulled up by the judge every time. And that's a civil trial. That's probably about the only place you're going to get away with a what if any, which is it's a way to hide a leading question or to bury a
It's
leading question. So, but we counted Lally on day, I think it was like 6. He already outdid Amber Heard's lawyer on how many we counted her caught out on. But Bev doesn't pull it up. She just lets him go. They're leading. I guess if you're doing the cross examination, then leading questions are more of a no no than if your leading questions are in your direct examination. So maybe that's why she's letting it
maybe
go.
that's it because Bev has not said a word. She's not
Oh,
said a word. Yes, what if any me to death every day? Who
it
if
gets
any?
worse. So what did you think about Bev not letting anybody state what their objection is for?
So we just watched the ASAP Rocky trial, and
Yeah.
that judge was the same way. Um, and I just kind of thought I don't have a problem with it. My issue is that sometimes what I don't have a problem with it because I think it's a way of her controlling the courtroom.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me. The only problem is when if the defense is trying to ask a question and the witness is not trying to answer the question, she'll say, "Meet me at this. Meet sidebar." She'll just automatically. Now I have a problem with that because she's not. And it seems to only be done when it's the defense. I have a problem there. I don't
Yeah.
mind the whole don't state the objection thing if it helps your courtroom flow smoother.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes Bev shows bias. She will. Another thing, if they object, she'll ask the witness, "Did you do it?" And then she'll just let it go. I don't understand that. I just don't
Yeah. It's
understand Bev though.
I think the idea behind we got LawTube watching this with us, and so I pick up a lot on what they say when they notice these things. Plus, I do a lot of research. I do deep dives into because we're under a Westminster law system here, whereas you guys are under a federal system. It's different law, so I got to research freaking everything. But when the lawyers basically said, I think it was Andrea Burkhart who first raised it, if she doesn't let them speak the objection type, then that kind of covers them. That covers the Commonwealth's ass if they want to go to appeals and argue anything. Oh, well, we objected because of blah blah. It's not on record, so nobody knows what they objected for. They can just
That's
make
a
it up.
great point. That's a great point. Now I don't know if it's kind of like some now most times when they come to the bench it's supposed to be recorded. So I would hope it's still being recorded.
The sidebars are, but you'll know the only sidebars she does is when defense objects, not when Lally does.
I'm
Those are not on the record. So
I'm not sure what that is about. I don't know if you remember. One of the lawyers they always talked about the prosecution and the judges, and they would say they're holding hands. It does feel like that with Bev. It really does. She's holding their hand throughout this trial.
right, and this is a really good point that Blackbird makes because it ties into what I'm trying to point at here, is that she is swinging for the Commonwealth. Um, she's supposed to be neutral. She's not
Yep.
meant to be batting for either side, but you can tell just in trial 1.0, she's babying Lally through everything. Would you like to object, Mr. Lally?
No, no, we've called her even after cross. She'll say it depends on the witness. She'll say, "I know you have some questions, don't you, Mr. Lally?" She'll do something like that, or "You don't have any questions, do you?" And he'll take her lead, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Again, you're not supposed to hold their hand throughout this trial, and she seems like that's what she's doing.
Yeah, yeah. I need to apologize to the audience. The bot's running amok. I did delete the essay stupid comment and it's still doing it. So I don't know what's going on there. And I apologize. We're still getting control of the bot. If you would like, we can actually turn the bot off. Let's do that. Until we got control of this sucker, let's switch it off. I don't even know if I've got it off now. Did that work? We shall see.
They said give you the key to the house.
Sorry?
I'm listening. I'm trying to figure out what my chat is talking. I mean, the chat said, "Mel, give us the key to the house." Oh, maybe they mean to the maybe they meant here.
Oh, they want mods over here.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
I've had to be actually really careful who I mod here because we've had some mods running amok. So I've got a couple that know what the story is, know the whole back history of it. So I apologize in advance to Mel's crew. Mel, I forgot to even offer to you. I don't know if I can do it on Restream to stream this to your channel. We should have, but I didn't. I
I don't
didn't even
even know
do it.
how. I don't even know how to do that. On this app, it's perfectly fine. I definitely put the link up. I put it in
Okay.
my in all of my socials. I put it on there as well.
Yeah, lovely. So, where are you up to? When I last spoke to you, you were only at the end of watching Higgins. Oh, Higgins' testimony has some real like eye openers that I don't think anyone watching actually understood what was going on, and I don't even think half the lawyers understood what was going on with Higgy. But if I jump there to the end, we're going to be skipping over all the other jaw droppers. So maybe I'll let you drive. Remind me to bring up the Higgy thing, okay? So
Okay.
to it, where you're up to. We just finished opening, so. Did you get in at least the civilian witnesses, all of them together?
The EMTs
Yeah, did you get any structure of what proving she did something out of them?
that Karen did something.
Yeah, yeah. Because
I have
that's
I
the object, obviously.
I I have not and the people online are on X are pretty crazy, but for me, I feel like we are at day 2021 right now, and I still have not seen the evidence that Karen did anything to him. I've said this: whether you believe Karen is guilty or innocent, one thing we can all agree on: she will never get a fair trial because the evidence wasn't collected
Right.
appropriately, and innocent people don't do the things that Jen, Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, Nicole, Colin, all of these people that have testified, innocent people don't do the things that they've done. So for me, I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen anything beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm going to ask the chat because I see some yellow hearts here. I always ask one question of the jury. We're always looking for what type of people. My chat will put it, I mean, my people put in the chat. If you're a juror, you have to be two things. Well, one thing to be on a jury. You have to
Yeah.
be a reasonable person. I feel like we're pretty reasonable, and I haven't seen anything beyond a reasonable doubt that makes me feel like Karen did it.
Yeah. Yep. Kevy, you have my permission to block the bot tonight because and I'll unblock it when we're done because it's really actually annoying the chat. So just block the damn thing and we'll work it out another time.
They were in my chat earlier, so just block it.
Just block it. We'll work it out later. So I didn't feel. I think. I think we were at least. I think we were at least past Yuri before we actually started seeing some evidence that
Mm,
the Commonwealth saying like this points to Karen Reid, and I
mm.
think the lawyers all noticed that as well. So, um, reasonable. Everyone's saying reasonable. Reasonable people.
That's
Reasonable.
something we do on my channel. If you're going to be a juror, like you have to approach this as a reasonable person to be a juror. You need to be a reasonable person. And I haven't seen anything beyond a reasonable doubt. I asked them that I'm sorry, we are very interactive on my chat. I
Right.
might ask them questions.
That's okay. Keep me up to date with the little quirks of your chat so I can follow what they're saying. So I get lost very easily even with my own chat.
Yeah.
Half the time I don't know what they're saying. But yes. So where are we up to? We've done all the EMTs. Do you believe that any of the EMTs actually were there standing beside Karen when she was asking, did I hit him?
No.
Right.
So what was his name? The first EMT, I call him EMT of the world. He was the first one. It wasn't Flamati. It's not Katie. It's the other young man. I can't find his name right now. But
I didn't for Marty at all, but the one that ended up cutting the puffy jacket off him that didn't
God,
actually.
Mr. Puffy Jacket, Mr. Puffy Jacket, Mr. Puffy Jacket had me. I was like, okay, but for him to be so detailed about his schooling, what he did, one, he thought this man had on a puffy jacket. He did not.
Right.
And then for him to be so by the book, he does not strike me as a person that would not have walked into the hospital and said, listen, when we were bringing him over, she said she hit him with a car. That's not something he would have forgotten.
Right.
That's not something he would have forgotten. So I can't believe your whole testimony.
Thank you, Ronnie. Timothy Nuttall, it was.
Not all. That's him. That's it. Not all. I can't trust you now because you're not the type of person. You went to work early. You went to work early to prepare for the snowstorm so you can help. You went. No, he didn't hear her say that. I do believe that maybe Katie start talking and saying, or somebody in there, they got it confused with the did I hit him? Did I hit him?
Right.
Because
Katie's
it's
most likely because of her close to the family. They were already saying the guy didn't come in the house.
Yeah.
So,
And then the I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. They each said it 3 times. They each heard her say it 3 times. And then you said, well, did she say anything else? Oh, well, I was performing life-saving measures. Well, so you were zoned out for everything except that. It doesn't make sense.
and then you didn't report it to the police.
And then you didn't report it.
Right. So before the trial started, we had a lot of trolls going around on social media saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him in inverted commas. And so I went through all of the police reports to find out where that originated, like how many witnesses were going to come on the stand and say that, because they were all making out like, everyone heard it. So I went through all the police reports before the trial started looking for the I hit him remark, and it came from Jen McCabe. She was the first one to report it. She first of all didn't report it. I don't think she said that Karen said anything in her first report, but in her second report, this is a bit like Amber Heard. You know how she ended up having 7 statements to undo statements that she said previously?
Oh, wow.
Jen McCabe ended up with 4 or 5 because she was coming forward at different times to say different things. So the first time she mentioned it was, did I hit him? And then later you see in Katie McLaughlin's report, is it McLaughlin? I can't remember her name. That was
McLaughlin.
right. Yeah. In her report, she starts saying it, but it was after Jen. And because of her closeness to that family, then, what can you do but put it down to they are already talking. So.
And I could have believed Katie. My issue with Katie, there's an issue with every person that made me say, okay.
Oh, no.
Flamati. Well, Mr. Puffy Jacket is the fact that you zoned out, with the exception of hearing, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. That's him.
Yeah.
When it comes to Flamati, he refused to say he got back in the ambulance with the victim. Well, I don't know if I got in. Maybe I was on the side of the car. Maybe I went to go get this. Why can't you just say you got in the vehicle? The video clearly shows that it looks like you were getting in the vehicle. The vehicle is closed. The ambulance is closed. He refused to say it. And now I'm like, why won't he say it?
Why? The question is why. Like, it was such an easy thing to go, okay, you
It
got
was
me.
very easy. They were doing this tussling back and forth just for him
Yeah.
to say he got in the vehicle. And then we get Katie. Katie refuses to call Caitlin her friend. I mean, if you didn't do anything, yes, we went to high school together. We hang out. We hang out. There's nothing wrong with saying that. She refused to say it, and I think that was a problem for me. Caitlin got on the stand and did the same thing. So those are problems for me because innocent people don't work hard to disassociate themselves from things the way they did.
Right, exactly. And so I think that at the end of the day, the way that they fought to not say something that was just so simple, just get it
Yeah.
over and done with. I think I think at the end of the day, that's what made all of us as the audience say, yeah, this is not right. What's going on here? Why won't they just say something? But it didn't affect the jury that way. And
Hmm.
it's very perplexing that, we find the stats that they ran through on all the big channels like Law and Crime and Court
Hmm.
TV was about 90% didn't believe, most of the witnesses believed Karen Reid was innocent. Well, I think the questions were asked a little more carefully than that, more along the lines, has the Commonwealth proved its case yet?
Hmm.
So more of around about 90% of the audience felt no, the Commonwealth hasn't, and it stayed at those figures until after the jury came back with a mistrial. Um, so it's unusual that. Sorry, I didn't mean to do a spoiler. I
Oh no,
did.
you're fine because I feel like there. I was sitting here thinking, like, man, I wonder if I'm still gonna feel like that at day 30. We'll be done by Sunday, so I'm like, I wonder if I'm still gonna feel like that because that's how I feel right now.
Yeah, and so you're just getting into the evidence part now. So we'll let you go with whatever happens between here and the end. Um, but yeah, right up until all of the civilian witnesses had finished testifying, I think 90% of the audience watching, which is a very big audience,
Mm-hmm.
close to 1 million, possibly 2 million watching through those two channels.
Okay.
So
Wow.
a lot of people were like, yeah, no, the Commonwealth hasn't proved anything through. And also, we had some people calling it the McAlberts definitely didn't do it trial. Pretty much
I
most
just
of the way.
can't see that. I really want to believe that these people didn't do anything to him, but it's hard to believe when people are doing the things that they have done. It
Right,
like innocent people don't do I mean, this was their friend.
right.
This was their friend. You don't do these things to your friend. It's just really weird. I can't believe it.
So, which witness stands out to you the loudest as being the least honest?
Jen, I'm gonna
Yay!
put Jen. I'm gonna put Jen first.
The, au-
Um,
the audience will be clapping now.
it'll be Jen. Brian Albert and Brian Higgins are close too. They're close too. Chris
Right,
Albert, I'll have to. I don't know if I want to put him before Nicole. I'm going to put Chris Albert before Nicole, and then it'll be Nicole. Chris Albert
right.
gets it because the pizza, the competition. He didn't want to eat pizza because of a weight loss competition.
Yeah,
I, I, I just can't believe that. Jen
yeah.
though, oh Jen was. She was everything people on X told me she would be,
She was everything and then some.
and
She's very,
then some.
I think she's histrionic, like Amber Heard's. I think one of your audience members said that just a minute ago. Very histrionic. Like, even the way she repeated the Jen, Jen,
No, Jen, Jen, Carrie, Carrie. I said, she lost me. She had already lost me. But right there, I said, I'm not playing with this lady anymore. You don't get yourself on anyone's stand doing that. And she practiced that. She had to practice that before. I mean, it was her neck, her mouth. She practiced that.
hmm hmm
Jen was terrible.
How do I feel about that, Kiona? That was probably the most sus thing. But I got some theories about Higgy. I got
Hmm.
theories about Higgy, but I want to finish talking about Jen first, because Jen, Jen is actually the cream of the cake as far as the dishonest witnesses go. She hit all the buttons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Soon as she started with that Jen thing, it reminded me of that beaver. I don't know if it's a beaver. What is it? An otter or a beaver? You know the Allen otter?
No, I'm
Alan!
gonna Google it.
Alan! Alan!
Does it sound like Jen?
Sounds like Jen doing the Jen. So that's what I did. My first clip was Jen doing her Jen next to the otter going Jen doing the Alan thing. But is it the Alan Beaver or Alan Otter? I can't remember. It's on my channel anyway for those who want to have a look at it. But moving on, what was it? So okay, the 2:27 a.m. search. Did you? Oh, you just got the otter.
No, somebody on here said it's Lil Wayne here.
Wheezy as well. The crowd's going off. Good on you guys. Aussie Jen Valerie, what?
Oh God.
What was I gonna say? 2:27 a.m. search. Do you believe it did or
Oh,
did it happen?
she did it. I said this. I think that sealed the deal for me. I didn't have to really hear much else. Jen, that search sealed the deal for me. And I said, oh, they did something to that man. They did. Why would you search that up? There's no reason for you to search that if you're home in your bed and you're trying to figure out your daughter's basketball situation. There's no reason to search that up. No reason at all. That did it for me, and that to me, it proved that they did something that wasn't Karen. I mean, just think about it.
Yep.
You have that search, you're called. She's very nonchalant. I mean, Carrie, honestly, Carrie and Jen were very not great friends to Karen during her time of need. They were nasty. She's batshit crazy. Her
Yeah.
boyfriend she just found him dead. What do you want her to do? But
Right.
for me, that and then Jen comes over there. There's a man in the snow. She wouldn't say his name. She wouldn't say he was a police officer. There were things like that. Just this, yeah. I'm with Jasmine. The search did it for me. I was done after the search. I didn't even have to see anything else. More so, why didn't y'all pick her up?
So my next question is, if you hear an expert saying something confusing about the search, are you going to believe him?
No.
Is there anything that he can say, that any expert can say, to convince you that that search did not happen?
No, here's the thing. I search crazy shit on my phone. I'm sorry for cursing. I search crazy stuff on my phone all the time. But in no world am I searching about a dead body and then the dead body is found on my lawn. Like I just don't see that happen. It's too no. That man was there. Now I don't know what happened, and that's what pisses me off the most. I wish I knew what happened, and why was she just? They just waiting for him to die in the snow. So
Yeah. 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 Well, because I follow true crime and I'm covering different stories right now, if the police looked up my search results and stuff that I asked AI, they probably have me on the suspect list for at least 20 murders. So. But then, as you point out, none of them turned up dead on my front lawn. So.
exactly. So there's that. Why would you search that at
Right.
2:20 in the morning around the same time Brian Albert and Brian Higgins are calling each other? All of
Yeah.
these blood dials. Why it's too suspicious to me, and to me it points to something happened and they were talking about it. It was on her mind. She probably didn't even sleep that night. It was on her mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I just want to leave this one on the screen for a bit so we come to this,
Hmm.
'cause this one's probably the next topic. As far as Jen goes, she said something like, as we were going into John's house. Okay, so that whole routine. Let's start at the start of that routine, because
Hmm.
Karen rings her up and says, "Where the hell's your sister's place? I need to go there because I know that's where I left John." and she won't give her the address. Like, I don't know that that's the conversation that actually went down, but it seems to me like she convinced Karen, I don't need to give you the address. I need you to come here instead. To waste that time going to Jen's house. Karen knows John's not there, so why is she driving to freaking Jen's house? So she wastes this time. This is time that he's laying in the snow dying, getting Karen to drive all the way to her house. Then she gets Karen to drive all the way freaking back to John's house. What? To check if he's under the couch? Like, where do you think?
Oh, the couch
in the
thing.
wardrobe?
I see the couch thing. I said they all had to still be really drunk, looking for him behind a couch.
Right. Do you think that the teenage daughter and Karen don't have eyes in their own freaking heads? Why are you going back there? It seemed to me like Jen was just trying to waste time.
Jen was buying time.
She was wasting time.
Jen's testimony that Karen calls me, and the first thing I do is I'm going to call Chris. You know, Jen says she left him at Waterfall, so I'm going to call Chris. Maybe he walked him home. Jen, you knew you saw him pull up.
Do you know who she actually called first? She didn't actually call Chris first. The very first phone call that morning, as soon as she hung up from Karen.
Was Julie, right?
No, it was
it
Tom Bey. And then we were all like...
no, it was Tom Bey. Well, I thought she was thinking about Tom Bey. Okay, so if she called Tom Bey, then she said the Julie thing. And then it was like, oh no, I forgot. You came to my sister's house. And I was just like, that doesn't make sense. You knew you saw her. Why did we have to go all around the world for this?
Right, exactly.
I remember the Tom Bey story that maybe they...
What's your idea from just the testimony that you heard why she rang Tom Bey? I know there's another reason she rang him, which is why I'm asking you, but what's your impression why she rang him first?
Deflecting. There's buying time. She knew she saw them, and if you have another theory, Jen is just a liar. And I think she was just trying to buy time. Why? Because we were listening to her testimony, and my face was just like, huh?
Right.
The Tom Bey story. Then I'm going to see if he walked home with Chris. Why would he be walking home with Chris? Yeah, you guys all left saying we're going here. You saw him there. Why would you even get on that stand and tell me you were going to call Chris?
Right. I do have another theory with the Tom Bey story.
What's your theory? What's your theory?
His daughter was at that party, at the Blizzard party with Colin Albert and his friends. And we know this. It didn't come out during the trial, so you probably didn't hear much about it.
I'm like, I don't know. So you're saying this theory? I didn't even know he had a daughter. Oh, well, probably they mentioned the kids. Go ahead.
It was just something that came up because Aidan Carney, I don't know if you've heard of him in the story yet, because Jen blurted that out. He harassed us. He rang them and asked them questions, and one of them blurted out about Tom Bey. And then the story came out that Tom Bey's daughter was actually at that party. She was the only loose end. Everyone else at that party, they could control. But that one girl, she's an outsider to them. She was the one person.
She was at the birthday party?
She was at Colin's little pre-party before they all arrived from the waterfall. So
what?
Yeah, and she's never even been put on the stand because this is why, because they threatened her. And then Tom Bey. So essentially, Jen rang him first to see if the daughter had said anything yet. So she's feeling it out already. She's covering bases. She's feeling it out. What has the daughter told Dad yet? Told him nothing. So she was like, well, phew. Then she goes on to ring everybody else, Chris and Julie and everybody else, sister, all that sort of stuff. Sorry, but that's just something that happened like outside of the court because of Aidan Carney doing his investigations on who the people were that were at the party. He was trying to dig in who was at the party. Was Colin there? Were there other people there? Because they were trying to they kept saying Colin wasn't there. Up until the trial, everyone was saying Colin wasn't at that party. And then at the trial, I had to admit that yes, he was. So, but
That's
yeah,
another reason. Why are we hiding the fact that Colin was there? If there's nothing you're trying to hide. It's trying to
right,
say, oh, well, I thought you meant everyone prior to 12:15. Well, those two girls were prior to 12:15 too. Even though they left with Jen, you mentioned them. Why not Colin? So
right.
I thought that was really weird too.
Right. And so then you've already heard most of them, like Ali jumped up and cried because she put Colin in the house accidentally. She was like, he wasn't at the house when John was. Well,
She
how do you
really
know?
did. She really did a lot on that stand. Her mom and her their fake tears. Brian Higgins even wanted to do fake tears. It was a lot. It was a lot going on. It was a lot
Right.
going
So moving on, yes, it was Erin Beatty. Thank you, Nancy. So that's the young girl that was there that was threatened to shove a dick in her mouth by the McAlberts, like the whole tribe threatened her. Dad backed
on. But
off
Nancy
and
saying she wasn't there. I thought Nancy said she
no,
wasn't
no,
there.
she was there. Hang on, what did
Mm,
Nancy say? I thought Nancy was saying she was too. Erin Beatty was never at. No, she was.
mm,
She was, and it was actually Erin Beatty's dad who went to the defense and told them what happened. This is how the defense, they started out, look, we just have to defend Karen. We know this didn't happen, but we don't have any details, so we don't know what happened. But then Erin Beatty's dad, Tom, went to the defense and told them she was at the party. She told him what happened, but it's also hearsay because his daughter told him. The daughter needs to be the one, if at all this comes out in trial, she needs to be the one that's put on the stand, and she's terrified of them, so she's not going to. But anyway,
mm.
um don't know that she attended the party beforehand or she actually just picked him up, but we know she was there and she knows the story. So anyway, what was I going to say? Moving on to the next topic. Did you buy the story that Karen was in a jealous rage?
When she allegedly hit John.
Right. So far, you've been through all the civilian witnesses who have tried to paint a story that she was a jealous, ragey bitch.
She was not jealous. Karen was real. I would have done everything Karen did. Miss Marietta, she's lucky Karen didn't hit her. I
I would have. I don't know how she did it.
she is lucky Karen didn't hit her. And if you just met Karen, you just met her for the first time. I think they're used to John dating girls, not getting too serious. Karen's been around 2 years. I think Marietta flirts with John. I think she had been flirting with him, and that was their thing. They kind of, not too much, but they flirted. And for Karen to see her hugging on him, you didn't speak to Karen when they first got there by the pool. You said it. I spoke to John. If it were me, hey, how are you? I'm Melanie. I'm going to introduce myself to the girlfriend because this is your first time coming around. Let's make you feel welcome. You didn't
Yeah.
do that. Then after she's going off, you didn't try to say, no, no, it's not like that. You just tell her, fuck you too.
Yeah.
That's not someone who's trying to welcome somebody into their space and come. No, I would have done the same thing. I don't. It wasn't jealous to me. It was the principal girl. You clowning. It was the principal.
Right. Let me just clear this up with the chat. That's my assumption that it was Tom Bey. No one actually knows if it was Steve Scanlon. Those are just the rumors. So let me just rephrase everything I just said about the Beatties. They're my assumptions. Fact, okay? But yes, I agree with you about the Sullivan sisters.
Hmm.
Carney has a different name for them, which is pretty funny. He calls them the Sullivan sluts.
That's what I've been told. That's what I've been told.
But I'll say sisters just to be polite here. But anyway, I didn't buy anything the Sullivan sisters said. I think John was flirty. I think that
Hmm.
Karen and John were towards the end of should we be breaking up, like making those decisions whether or not they should be together. They were both worried the other one was having affairs. I think they were
Mm.
kind of I think they had run their relationship course. She was looking at options, obviously. And what did you think about what did you think about the text exchanges between the two, between Higgy? Like, I really got where Karen was coming from, like being single for a bit myself, and then you get these like Klingons who just come on too hard and hot and heavy, and they just skip the "I'm going to bring you flowers" to "Are we dating?" Kind of
Are we
thing.
about to get married? Someone said in
Yeah,
my chat Brian was ready to sign his pension over, and I think he was.
yeah,
He couldn't believe Karen was looking at him, and that's probably because he's been single. He don't really have a lot of options or something. He just could not believe it, and I think it
yeah,
turned her off. Like, let's chill. I don't want to jump from one relationship to the next. I think he came on too strong in
yeah.
those texts. I did. And for him to say I'm embarrassed and he was my friend, hang it up. No, he wasn't. You don't text your friends, girl.
Yeah.
You knew him, you guys were friendly enough, but you weren't friends.
Yeah. Did you notice anything in the bar footage that alerted you to Higgins being, the jealous man type? Okay, just between girls, let's just start with, this is between women folk, because I'm not sure the guys will understand this, but I've been in a situation where I've gone to a party. I don't know anybody at this party, and
Mm-hmm.
then some guy comes up and starts talking to me. And then all of a sudden, these two guys are like fighting with each other. And I'm like, what the hell's that about? And then I find out later that I saw her first. And I got dibs on her. So you can't talk to her, kind of deal. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
boys, boys behaving like boys. But I kind of got that bit of vibe from Higgy, that he was that type of male. Like, okay, John saw her first, but now she's texting me, kind of. Now it's a battle as to who saw her first and why, and you know what I mean. Like, did you get
When I
that?
read the text, I didn't get that like he and John saw at the same time, but I remember him saying that there was the first time he saw her, he was like, "Wow," and that's just, that exchange really let me know again that he and John were not friends for real. So saying that we were friends, I didn't buy it. And for Karen to be comfortable enough, now that's the one time in the trial I was like, Karen, like girl. I thought I make it a habit. I don't date in friend groups. And I thought Karen was out of pocket. Mad or not, I thought Karen was out of pocket for it. But the play fighting at the bar after seeing the text messages, she's too pretty is yes. After seeing the text messages, the play fighting at the bar made sense. It almost made me feel like maybe Brian and both Brian's were had like an inside joke about,
Yeah,
hey, what are you gonna do to him? Like just kind of joking around because she didn't speak to him. And I'm not
yeah,
buying that Brian didn't tell people about it.
yeah,
I'm not buying it. He kept, oh, I didn't tell people. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
yeah. I do believe that. I do believe that Higgins would be that type. Like, if he was at a bar and two guys saw the same girl, he and another guy saw the same girl at the same time, they'd be fighting over who saw her first. I didn't think that was the case with Karen. It's just he comes across as that kind of fella.
I could see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
he was really he seems really I mean, he just couldn't believe that she was texting him.
yeah,
The
yeah,
kids out yeah, Brian was ready to risk it all for her.
yeah. And Wellsman mum makes a point too, that point where the relationship is already over, and you
Mm.
already know that you're being used by the other person as the babysitter, and the wheels, the Uber, when he's got no, when he doesn't want to drink drive and stuff like that. You can see that in just their text exchange, that he was up her ass the whole time, like, get out of my face, I'm sick of you. And then it's like, are you driving me around tonight? So you can see that they were at the end, and I think that exchange with Higgy died in the ass really quickly because he was just coming on too strong. She just wanted a little flirtations. Can I feel pretty for a change instead of being the a-hole?
Brian
So
was like, "What are we doing here?" It was like Brian would say, "What are we doing here?" She'd respond back, "I had chicken
yeah,
tenders for dinner. It was just like she would not answer his questions. She was trying so hard to move around him, but he wouldn't let her
Yeah.
because he was ready for a relationship.
I think it was just a bit of harmless flirting to begin with, and I can't hang her for that. So,
Yeah.
but as you say, if you're dating someone, you want to end, that thing first before you start flirting. I'm with you on that. I am that sort of
Not Karen.
person.
Look, not Karen. Karen was ready, and it's so close to home. She was
Yeah,
messy for she was messy for it.
she was messy. Their relationship was messy, so I get it. But I also think that she, in her interviews, I don't know if you saw her kind of admit that, things were messy, like they were drinking all the time. And so I don't actually pick her as a regular drinker. All the rest of them, yes, especially John. So what I got from their text messages there between Karen and John, have you covered those yet?
Nope,
Oh,
haven't seen their messages yet.
okay, no spoilers. Leave that one for another conversation. We have to have another conversation with Mel when she gets to the end of all of this.
Yeah.
So what was my question? So the mean girl vibe with Carrie and Jen
Mm.
and Sullivan sisters. Did you get the mean girl vibe going on there?
Like Karen, and I didn't know. I didn't know much about Karen. So for people to say she had a great job, she had a house, she just purchased that car, she didn't have kids, she was not tied down like everyone else was. I can see it, and plus it seems like a lot of people like John. So then there's that too.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of felt like I sort of expected Carrie to be a little bit more combative about Jen because Jen just like
Mm.
trapped her on the stand.
She
Carrie,
admitted, but he validated what Jen said about her. I'm a talker. I talk a
yeah,
lot. I said, oh, she's watched this trial.
she watched the trial exactly. She's sitting there watching what everyone was doing. They were all coached. You can tell they were all coached. So we find out. I don't know if you caught that little thing when the jury was let out. AJ had a little argument with Bev about Jen receiving receiving Jen's latest statement. So number 6, where she told the police something different again after she testified. Did you see that?
Before the jury came back in, well, they had the jury to
Oh,
step out.
yeah, yeah.
Was this
And
about the whole how nowhere in her statement did she say that she was told I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
yeah,
And
after
then
that,
even when she testified at the June at the he was telling her this is the first time we've heard this statement, right? Is
right.
that the part you're talking about?
I'm talking about the part when AJ says to Bev, "Oh, I've done all the damage I'm going to do to Jen." Did you hear him
I
say
don't
that?
remember that part.
Okay, it might not have come up yet. All right, well, let's not do the spoilers. He does say that to Bev, so there's a whole lot more that comes out about Jen after she testifies. So it might be a little bit later.
Okay. Okay, so no, I haven't seen it yet. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
right.
it. Okay.
So put a pin in that one for our next conversation as well. I'm getting my time order a little mixed up here. So, but the main thing was, yeah, did you get the mean girl vibe? None of them liked Karen. She's not
Nope.
in the in crew. I found out that the locals there call it the people who are born and bred and have positions in the town. They're townies, apparently.
Mm-mm.
And she wasn't a townie. So,
She wasn't a townie. She felt like that though. Their reaction to John being missing, especially Carrie, who generally seems to have nothing to do with it outside of probably some coaching after it happened. For her to be saying, "Oh, she's batshit crazy," like one, I think Karen was probably still drunk, and
yeah,
then I also think she's hysterical. This man didn't come home. She expected him to come home, and some people can be more dramatic than others, but they didn't show her any type of sympathy, any type of care, concern that day. So, and when they got on the stand, the things that they said, even with her sitting there, I thought it was really nasty. Person.
thank you, Olivia. Olivia's saying that's right at the end when AJ says that. So, if you're not following Olivia Nile, so Olivia Lambo on X, she does
Okay.
brilliant breakdowns on the information as it's coming out. Well worth a follow. everybody who has not heard of Olivia Lambo on X, Kevy, could you pop Olivia's links up for us? She's brilliant. She's an analyst. She's actually a combat analyst.
Okay.
Looking at this like it's a combat, she comes up with the most logical, takes on things. So very well worth watching Olivia Lambo on X, or Olivia Nile. She's always in our chats on YouTube. So moving on, Olivia is going to correct me on everything I get wrong here, because she is so switched on. If I don't have my notes in front of me, I'll get stuff wrong. So and of course my audience are often filling in the blanks for me when I forget a name or which time order things happened in. So please forgive me in advance if I get some of that wrong. Shantae's Inferno says, it amazes me every woman from around the world has the same reaction. Karen is just a normal woman. The Millionaire Mel's onto it. Right. So what are we up to now? We got through
We've
all
done Jen, we've done Carrie. I guess
All right,
maybe
one
the
more
next
question about
witness.
Carrie.
Okay.
One more question about Carrie. What did you believe that Carrie said, and what did you put a red flag over? Thanks,
Carrie.
Kevin.
I think Carrie, I'm trying to think. Look, now I have to go to my notes because I can't remember anything that I just really believe from Carrie. If I'm being honest.
So you
Carrie,
believe
I can't really think of anything that stands out that was like, oh, I really believe this from Carrie. I do believe she called her. I do believe she was genuinely concerned. Um, what I can't understand when it comes to Carrie is how she clicked up with Jen so fast. They weren't friends. They didn't have a connection, and if John was Carrie's connection, it just seems more logical for her to have tried to see what's going on with with
Yeah,
Karen.
yeah.
But having her interviews at Jen's house, all of that, I just did not. I don't understand. I don't understand that part of it.
Right. I think one of the things that stood out to me, so Jen said when we were going into the house, Karen
Oh,
stopped us to show her tail light. And I was expecting Kerry to go, look, right there. Like they were going to play some more of the footage and we would see where they actually stopped and pointed out the tail light. And it didn't happen. So that was an eye opener for me.
and then they
Also,
don't have it. I think I found out today. They
I
have
don't.
no video of that. I said now the only thing with Carrie, now that you bring that up, Carrie said that it was a small black hole. And then when you're looking at the light, no way they found 47 pieces. And she
Right.
only saw a small black hole missing
With a bit of wire hanging out of it. Like,
with a bit of wire hanging out of it.
where the hell was the wire hanging out? When you reverse into something, whether it be a person or another vehicle, how can a piece of wire be hanging out? It's all LEDs in there. They're little circuit boards. They're not wires.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but I do feel Carrie, she has to be a follower. Like you can't think on your own. Why do you need to conduct your interviews at Jen's home?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have wondered why. I'm a grown ass woman. I don't
Right.
need to your house. And then Jen, oh, we were having dinner. Like it just
Right.
made no sense to me. That
Right.
that made no sense to me.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff there, wasn't there? And it doesn't make sense to me that Jen and Kerry weren't really friends before all of this, and yet now they're teaming up against Karen. I don't get that. I mean, that might be just part of the mean girl thing.
Yeah.
So we do
And
know.
remember she used to date John too. So even though that was in high school, sometime and he was her friend, we don't know what John told her about Karen as well. We just don't know. So
Right,
there's probably a reason for her being so biased.
yeah, I think she's a little bit of a Is it a pick me?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
can see
sure.
that.
Yeah, not sure
I
of the
can see
term, but
that.
just following the crowd because that's what the crowd's saying. So whatever,
Yeah, I can
just
see that.
going along with it. So that's right, Bird Bob. We've done some major deep dives into
Yeah.
what's inside that assembly. No wire was hanging out. Correct. So so moving on from all of that, you're not up to any experts yet. So what's the next thing that you would like to bring attention to?
Well, my next biggest witness, we're going through Buchanan right now, so
Yeah.
we're
Yep.
we're in the middle of him. But the only other big witness we had was Brian Higgins, and we could he could be our last topic because that's all I got left. But
Right. Yes. On the civilians, Brian Higgins. Go for it.
oh, Brian Higgins, why would he have to drive to a military base to throw his phones away and his SIM card?
Right.
That's very
Right.
suspicious. Why
Right.
would he
As
only turn over text messages with Karen? Where are your text messages with everyone else in the house?
right. The
No.
timing. Like right as the court has said, all right, we need to issue a subpoena for those devices, and
And
then
never
before
do
the
that.
subpoena arrives, they've got rid of everything. Him and Brian Albert both did that, so there's that. Oh, okay, we didn't cover Brian Albert. Did you buy anything Brian Albert was
Oh,
saying?
Brian. Oh yeah, we didn't go Brian or Nicole. No. Not those
No.
butt dials. Brian saying that he and Nicole were getting it on, and that's probably how he accidentally called. That iPhones don't work like that.
They
They
were
just
getting.
don't.
They were
It's really hard
getting
to butt dial a person with an iPhone these days. Maybe
exactly.
years ago, but it's really hard to do that now. Him too. He didn't even mention the weight loss competition. He didn't mention that. Everyone having this 1210 number for calling, leaving that home, suspicious as hell to me.
Yep.
Because they were drunk. They weren't looking at watches.
Right.
They were drunk. They weren't looking at watches. So Brian Albert, he definitely seemed. Now, I will say, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, they were two of the most seemingly prepped witnesses on the stand. They, with the exception of them both turning really red while they were on the stand, they seemed to be the most prepped, the most prepared um, of the witnesses that I've seen so far.
Radio. I'm just taking a quick note down because this will be something we'll close with. So give me one sec.
Mm-hmm.
I'll close with that because that's going to be funny. When you get to the end of the trial, you're going to be shocked. So what I want you to take notice of through the rest of what you're watching now, the time frame that they say this happened. Do you have a time frame yet?
Let's say 12:30, somewhere up in there. I think that's the time that I've seen. I heard the medical examiners, not the medical examiners, the forensic scientists, they were given a time of 12:30,
Right.
which I don't
So
understand because Brian Higgins he left at 12:30.
right. So keep an eye on that time thing because that's all going to get flipped on its head by the end of the trial. So
Okay,
that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you any
okay.
clues, but
Look,
watch.
I'm gonna write a note. I'm gonna write a note for that.
Yeah, keep an eye on the timeline of when it actually happened. So Jen McCabe testified that she looked out the window 5 times, right?
Yeah.
And so she says that the last time she saw Karen's car was at 12:45, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at right now, the 12:45 time frame. The
Okay.
last time she sees his car, I think, is what she said. So that's all we've got. That's all you guys have on the time frame right now. But that
I think about right now. Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be weird later. But anyway, um, so the right, Olivia, it's even harder to butt dial someone when you're getting higgy with it, and then hang up before it goes to voicemail. Exactly. So I think the standout thing for me with the butt dials was that. So they're getting higgy with it. Nicole and Brian are getting higgy with it, and they ring. He accidentally butt dials Brian Higgins, who accidentally answers with his butt. So that was the thing that for 20 seconds, his butt accidentally answers at exactly the right times. all this butt dialing going on was just ridiculous. Did you get to the point where, like, if the next person says that was a butt dial, I'm going to scream?
I I just want to know which one of them said we'll just say they were butt dials. I just
Right.
want to know who was the person that came up with the we'll say they were butt dials. T, quit playing in this chat. Who said? I just want to know who said that they were. We're going to just say that everybody was doing butt dials on that day.
Everybody was doing butt dials on that day.
Yeah.
So
Waste of time.
Here's where we're at. Everybody was doing butt dials on that day. How much of the evidence have you seen? You're up to Buchanan having no record of anything right now.
Oh,
So
he has no chain of custody for anything.
right.
No chain of custody for anything. So we
Right,
do know that.
There's more on the evidence side of it, which I won't bring up yet. But
Okay.
there's also what's his name has to come up and tell you about what's actually on the phone data. So
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that part.
Right. So
We'll be
we
coming this week. Like I said, I'll be done on Sunday. So we'll be done with the entire trial. We typically are on live 9-10 hours a day. Probably gonna go up. I don't want to say I'm gonna go up to 12, but who knows? Sometimes we just don't stop. But we'll be done by Sunday.
We got to get you back because
We'll be done by Sunday.
You're gonna be on a different. I think you're gonna be on a slightly different wavelength by the end of it, like more solidified, but stuff goes weird from the point we start seeing evidence. So we've got everybody's butt dialing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Jen's phone's self-deleting freaking shit all over the place. Conveniently all the calls to John O'Keefe. We've got I don't want to go too far ahead of you, but apparently we have a complete vehicle-wide malfunction on the cruiser.
I've heard about that. I've heard about it.
Right. So
they are really good at not giving it all away, but sometimes they give me a little peek into what's coming, and then once I see it, I'm like, oh, this is what they were talking about. So yeah.
So everything in the Canton Triangle malfunctions and butts even are included. Like at the same time, all of their chain of custody, the snowplows, everything's not working at exactly the right time. So
I've heard.
Yeah, so this is what we're calling the Canton Triangle. So
Yeah.
that's to keep in mind moving forward is that there's this triangle where shit just doesn't seem real. But yeah, where are we up to now? So Higgins for me, he says dark-haired man entered the house. Did that strike you as weird?
Yes, it did. But I think he said that because in that federal that hearing, I think he was just scared they may have had evidence that John walked into the house. And so I think he was trying to cover himself, because why else would he just volunteer that? No one else did. I think he was a little scared. I think he was scared, and that's why he said it.
I think this is just this is something I didn't think through the trial, but I have since come up with, learning more about what's going on with the feds in these pre-trial hearings for 2.0. I learn a little bit more about what the feds were up to. And so this is what I think with Higgy, right? A lot of the audience wouldn't have caught it, but he had his lawyer in the room and he was given time to go speak with his lawyer before he made a self-incriminating statement. But the self-incriminating statement, that's called pleading the fifth for everyone who doesn't know, without actually saying I plead the fifth, that's what he did there. The judge said, I realize you're going to have to plead the fifth here, so now you need to go speak with your lawyer for a few seconds, which he did. And then he came back and he told us that he used federal equipment to scrub his phone, basically. So that pleading the fifth there is what confused me, because it doesn't connect him to the crime. It just shows he's trying to hide shit and that he broke the law doing it. But what connects him to the crime is saying, John, I saw a dark-haired man walk in the house. Now, you've hit the nail on the head saying he's
I think he was
scared
scared.
of the
I
feds.
think they all were scared during their hearing. It's like the feds. It's not Canton
Right.
PD, who they're familiar with, they're friendly with. It was I think they were all
Right.
scared.
So he's been scared enough to say something that is incriminating but didn't plead the fifth for it. And that is that he saw a dark-haired man walk in the house. So that tells me he's not the one who struck the fatal blow. That tells me that he's enough not connected to the fatal blow that he's had to say, okay, I'm hinting I saw John, without getting everybody else upset with me and coming after me. So I'm hinting that I saw John come in the house, but I'm not pleading the fifth on that. I'm pleading the fifth on this other thing. So that tells me he's not the one that struck the fatal blow. This is, again, I just clarify, this is me assuming what I'm assuming. This is not borne out in evidence. It just the way I'm sort of putting the pieces together. So that leaves us with Colin and Brian, as far as I can see it. What do you think?
I wish I could give you an answer. I do not know what happened to him, because it literally sounds like he was out of the car 2 to 3 minutes before something happened.
Literally.
I will say, someone on X said, what if he was trying to go to the restroom, he went to the wrong door and fell down some stairs, hit his head, and then the dog got to him. And if that happened,
Yeah,
why
but
would they cover that up? That's truly an accident. So I just can't see. I
right.
just don't know. I don't know what happened to the man, but something happened in that house. And I'm going to stand on that, because these people wouldn't be lying and getting rid of phones if nothing happened to him. That's how I feel. Maybe towards the end of the trial, like I said, I have about we have less than 10 days to go now, about 9 days left of trial. So
Yeah,
maybe I'll come back
yeah,
after and I'll have something different for you. But right now, that's all I have.
yeah. Well, I think Higgy ruled himself out just by not pleading the fifth when he admitted the dark-haired man came in the house, but pleading the fifth on the misuse of federal equipment. That was weird to me, and people who didn't recognize what pleading the fifth looks like on the stand without actually saying it probably wouldn't have picked up on that. So I really wanted to just point that out so you understood that little scenario with the lawyer and everything. That was pleading the fifth, but not on the
Well,
thing we
here's the
thought.
thing. So I guess I'm confused on, if he was pleading the fifth, he would have just said, I'm pleading the fifth. And I get what you're saying. It was disguised. I just felt like he said it because it's already a known fact that came out during the other trial. So it was like, okay, what's the word? He's already probably been reprimanded for doing it, because someone on X said that he's on desk duty now.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
federal crime, so he's about to admit to a federal crime in court. So he could have pled the fifth and not said it. He could have said verbally, I plead the fifth, and not answered anything about the federal crime.
I think he's already been
But he
reprimanded
chose.
for it. And the lawyer probably said, listen, this has already happened. Boom, boom, boom. Because I used
So
to work
go
for
ahead and
the
say it.
government. So one thing I do know, he knew what he was doing was wrong. It's not like when he was
Yes.
they read out the code and he was like, no, you do. You have training on it every
Yeah.
year. We have to take compliance. So he knew that what he was doing was wrong. And he's probably, like I said, he's probably already been reprimanded for it. That's why he didn't see any harm in saying that he did it. They've done already whatever it is they're going to do to him. They probably already have done it, because that's an internal thing that'll happen on your job.
Right. So that's why it looked like pleading the fifth, but he
Yeah.
didn't actually plead it. He ended up
Yeah.
admitting to it. So, but the thing that struck us was just that it wasn't for admitting John came in the house. That's the thing that puts him close to John, in the house with John. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that looks incriminating in this trial. That's the thing that looks incriminating. Yet he said it. Yet he admitted to it. So that's why I think Higgy's probably not the one who, because otherwise he's incriminated himself right there, admitting John came in the house. So it still comes back to someone else did it. But I don't think this was, as you say, with the timing, it feels like John had barely even arrived at the house when this sheet went down. That doesn't give him time. You're not just going to walk into a house you've never been to before and go straight to their toilet. That isn't going to happen.
If I've been drinking, it might. Where's your restroom? It might happen for me. I'm sorry.
That's true. That's true if you're drinking, because I'm not a drinker. That's probably something I haven't thought of. So yes,
just might.
obviously.
Hey, how you doing? I hate to do this, but can I use your restroom? Yeah, I just might.
Yeah. All right. So the one shoe on, one shoe off tends to indicate he'd only got one shoe. Like he was a stickler for taking his shoes off at the door. So it looks to me like he just got one shoe off before this all happened.
Even that, I
didn't
haven't
get a
heard
chance
that before, but even at other people's home, the man took his shoes off. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's something.
Carrie and the friend, I can't think of his name, the bestie who was with him that night, both testified that John was very big on taking your shoes off. You don't wear your shoes
I heard
in the
that
house.
about his house.
And then
I heard that about his home. I didn't know it carried over to others. So that's interesting.
Right. You just imagine it would carry over to others if he's very particular about it, like like
Mhm.
ultra particular about it, like obsessed with it. So that was the impression they gave. So he was obsessed with it, not just that that's at his house. It was just something he
wanted
was
to got
obsessed
it.
with. Like, yeah. So that kind of explains why he's only got one shoe on. And so if you're having a party and you got a whole bunch of shoes at your front door because everyone's doing it, then you don't know his shoe is mixed up with everybody's shoe at the front door when he gets jumped, assuming he got jumped, like just playing out like a scenario. And so after everybody leaves and everybody's shoes go, all of a sudden you're left with a shoe there. So that explains to me why the shoe turned up later and not that day when his body was found. And his hat as well is probably a similar story. His hat flew off. He's already got one shoe off. He's jumped at the door. It may have even been by the dog. He could have been jumped at the door by a dog because in the house, all the strangers are already in the house. He's come along, never met the dog before. The dog could have jumped him at the door. That's plausible.
I just don't know what happened, and that bothers me. I really wish someone would flip and tell us what happened. Let's just close it. Tell us what happened. Something happened in the house, and I wish someone would tell us. Until then.
Yeah. So there's more evidence that comes out relating to his positioning, where he was, what he was doing from his phone. But tellingly, the GPS data is kind of curated. This is something I'll probably point out to you from this point forward. Take notice of the data that they're showing to you because it's all curated. There's no point where they show you this is the data we pulled, and then from that data we got this story. This is all.
We're not seeing
it's all curated.
I've noticed that we don't see timestamps on a lot of stuff. It's just like, hey, here's the video, and it was from this day, and they're telling you what time, but we don't see timestamps on the stuff. So I couldn't figure out is the information zoomed in on or what's going on with it, but yeah.
Yep. And so something else that I thought was interesting that you said the other day too was, I think it was your post that your phone GPS had put you outside your own house.
Girl. I didn't know it was on my phone, and I have two dogs, so I'm walking. I have to walk down the stairs to take them, and I walk back up the stairs, and my phone told me all of that, and I said, was like, oh, wow. So why aren't people believing that? I haven't gotten to this yet. So why aren't people believing that he went up or down some stairs? If his phone says it, he went up and down those stairs. I did not know. If they said as long as this phone is in my hand or it's on me, it's tracking it. And sure enough, I opened it. It said you walked up 4 floors. It gave me the amount of steps I'd taken. And I didn't even know this was on my phone. So
Right, right. I don't have Apple phone doing that thing, but I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. But here's the tricky part. The up and down the stairs isn't measured by your GPS. The in and out of the house and moving around the property, that's GPS. But the up and down and the steps are measured by the altimeter. So the altimeter measures whether you're above sea level or below sea level. It's a different sensor in the phone. And then the steps are like this. It's actually awful, the thing that it comes from, but it comes from a crystal that they mine in I forget the name of the place where they mine it, but anyway, totally different story. There's a crystal in your phone that measures the tilt of the phone and whether it's swinging or whether you have it upright or laying flat. So there's a special like crystal in the phone that measures that. That's what measures your steps. So you know how you can gesture your phone to turn it on? You can just tip it down and tip it back up, and that turns your phone on instead of pressing any buttons or swiping. You can do all of that with your phone. That's that crystal. So thank you, Kevin. It measures your altimeter. So steps and exercise and movement of the short, quick movement up and down, left and right, all that is measured with different sensors. They're not measured by GPS. So people get confused because their GPS is not accurate. And so your GPS pings between you and the satellites, your phone and the satellites. And sometimes when that signal's coming back from the satellites, there's a delay, or there could be clouds, it could be interference, could be just all sorts of things, especially in the city. It delays the signal coming back. So it might put your actual location for the GPS in a different spot. But the altimeter and the little crystal that does the gesture movements and everything, that's all pretty accurate. Otherwise, if you had your gesture movement, turn my phone on, and it's not accurate, you'd be sitting in your car and your phone would turn on by itself. We know that doesn't happen. So those instruments are actually are pretty accurate, but the GPS signal is not as
I can I
accurate,
can I
but
can
it can
attest
be
to
accurate.
that. I can attest to that. I just I can't
Yeah,
wait to get to that point in trial where I can kind of understand that, because I've been hearing about it. I haven't heard it yet. I haven't
yeah.
heard it
The data from his phone does come up a little bit later now that you're into the police testimony and the evidence coming in. So Trooper Guarino introduces um, John's data, so that will all come up. But yeah, that's the main reason people don't understand that they're different sensors on the phone that are measuring different things. And so a lot of people are like, yeah, but steps aren't accurate. Well, GPS is not accurate, but steps are. So
yet. Wait, we'll have to
and
do
I'm
this.
glad
We'll
you.
have to plan like a day once I'm done, so that I can really go through all this information. I have a ton of spreadsheets that I've been provided, links and things like
No,
that too, to kind of pair with what I'm
no,
watching. But because I'm streaming, it's hard for me to look
yeah,
at the information. But I'm going to make sure I go through it
uh,
before Tuesday, because I've heard the trials is going to be starting on Tuesday. So I'm going to make sure I go through it.
yeah. All right. So final thoughts. You're halfway through mechanic, or are you at the end of
We're
mechanic?
about halfway through.
Radio. So what's your thoughts so far on mechanic
Same
so far?
thing. I don't know who trained these people.
Why have you got to
I
lie,
don't know who
dude?
trained them. I'm not sure. I don't know why they're so terrible at their job. I don't believe him. The thing that comes to mind right now is him saying he told every officer to stop by 34th Fairview on their way to work and on their way home to see if they come up with something. That doesn't even sound like it's. Why would you say that? And yeah, I don't know.
Right.
And
It
he seemed
seems
like an
like
asshole.
all the
He
other.
just I don't care for him.
you-
I don't care for him either.
he seems like all the other witnesses where it takes too long for him to answer a simple yes or no question. Like he just battles all the way
He
through it
does.
and won't answer the question straight out.
He
So
does. He does. So yeah, so for we're almost done with him. I think.
Okay, we got some questions from the audience as well. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Finish
that's
that
it.
sentence.
I'm
Sorry.
just, I'm not feeling him. I don't. Every police officer feel that in this case so far sounds about the same. I don't know who trained him.
All right. And they've got no chain of
No,
custody. You only just started with the evidence. You're going to find nothing has a chain of custody. Nothing. None of those videos you've watched, none of that dash cam that you've watched, none of it's got any chain of custody.
it's terrible.
None of it.
It's terrible. How frustrated are
So,
you, girl? I think I curse a whole lot on my streams. A lot.
you're allowed to curse
I
over
curse
YouTube,
a
by the
lot
way.
on my streams. Okay, a lot.
So do
I am
I. So
stressed
do I.
watching this trial. Stressed.
And it gets worse,
And
too, if you can
everyone keeps
believe it.
saying
So,
it gets worse. Question: what is Mel's opinion on Brian, the first responder, not coming out of his house that morning? Guilty. You can't say that that man was your friend and then he's on the stand. Oh, I wish I would have done this. You could have done it. You could have come outside when that girl was out there screaming. When Jen was calling that phone, you could have come right on outside. You could have put your clothes on and got to that hospital. The fact that he didn't do any of that was very telling.
okay. So the next question, it's not really a question, it's a comment, but how did you feel about how the taillight pieces turned up?
Lies. Lies. That's all I can say. Because it made no sense to me. Everybody stopped by. And then the dates were like February 3rd, February 8th, the 11th, the
A month
18th.
after?
Like, no. Within days of each other.
Yeah.
Not buying it.
And then the chief, I can't think of his name at the moment, before Helena Rafferty, he's passed away now.
Berkowitz.
No, yeah, Berkowitz. He's got Coke bottle lens glasses. How the hell did he see these taillights driving past in his car?
I don't believe it. I think it was all planted. And the only thing that would have maybe not feel that way is if they started finding some the day they were out there. They didn't find anything, so I can't believe it.
Yeah. So do you feel at this stage that this is weaponized incompetence, or do you think they're just incompetent?
It's weaponized incompetence.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think they planned to kill him. Something happened, and they made the decision that we're going to cover it up. Whatever it is that happened to him was bad enough that someone was going to go down for it, and they made the decision to just cover it up.
So question is, if he told all his people to stop by the house going and leaving from work, how come the only one to find taillight pieces obviously was Proctor and the chief?
That's a good question.
I think it was Proctor.
That's a good question. I didn't even think about that, but that's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
Right. And why is he getting people to stop by the house going and leaving from work?
Just like he's telling them to go by Sonic. Go by Sonic and pick up a corn dog on the way to work. Just it was craziness. This is a crime scene. You didn't seal it off. How are we supposed to believe that this wasn't planted? Anyone could have to their house and put it there. So
Glenn's our class clown, eagle-eyed Berkey, not eagle-eyed Cherry.
Does he testify in this trial?
Berkey does not. I don't think. Does he, guys? Correct me, because there are some parts of testimony I couldn't do because of Lally, and I fell asleep. So when the trial is actually live, it's our nighttime, and I tried so hard to stay awake. My whole routine around to USA time, but some of it I just couldn't do. Lally just put me to sleep every time. He drones on like a what are those hypnotizing pendulums called?
I thought it was just
it
me.
drones on. No, it's not just you. But here's the thing: we were all so glad to see the arse end at Lally that when they announced Breenan, everyone was like, yay, both sides. Yay, no more Lally. Woo! Except I think everyone's going to welcome Lally back.
I've seen
just
people
looking
already
at
want him back.
Right. Can you believe that? We want the drone back, and well, imagine how bad Brennan's got to be if everybody's saying bring Lally back. So he's pretty bad.
I've heard about it. I've heard of a lot. I've seen tweets where people say they prefer him. They want him to come back, but too late now.
That's right, guys. Mr. Berkowitz passed away last month, I think it was, or was it it actually could be a couple of months now. Time flies when you're having fun. I forget when it was, but it was definitely after trial 1.0 concluded and after Matthew Farwell was arrested. I don't know. Have you heard about the Farwell incident?
No, not yet. Not yet. I haven't heard anything really too much outside of trial.
Okay. It doesn't come into that trial, but it will be coming into this trial, I think, if they can get it in. So I think Bev's trying to keep it out, but if someone accidentally opens the door, it's in. And I'm pretty sure, Brennan seems to be like the knock it down type, lock the door down type, rather than gently opening it. So I think someone's going to accidentally open the door and it's coming in. But so 2 weeks after Karen's trial, they arrested Matthew Farwell. All of these people that are going on the stand right here that you're watching now, the cops and everything, they're all involved in covering up another murder.
Okay. I have heard about this. Is Birchmore?
Yeah, Sandra Birchmore.
Okay.
So where all of the Karen Reed followers who believe she's innocent, they're all watching the Birchmore case as well. Just so that you guys know that the Birchmore case is very much involved with this because of all the same cops. So Fanning to Farwell to Proctor, thank you. Also, Trooper Guarino was one of the persons who helped extract all the data in the Birchmore case. So all of the same players. So essentially, what's probably not clear in the case so far as you're seeing it is that Michael Morrissey's office, DA Michael Morrissey, has a USPD unit assigned to his office. And they're all detectives.
Oh, wow.
They're supposed to be neutral. They help the prosecutor's office, investigate shit. They're supposed to be neutral, but these guys seem to be less neutral and more like we're just covering up for everybody. And so that's how Sandra Birchmore gets bought into it. And also there's also some funny same people involved with Justin Root, although his case has gone civil, so slightly different sort of way around things. But I think it's those two cases that the feds were originally looking at because of all of the connections to the SPDU, to Michael Morrissey's detective unit. That's why I think
I've already saved some stuff because people have tagged me and told me about their case. So I'm gonna make sure once I'm done and get through the second trial that I pay attention.
Yeah. So that's all the evidence is coming up now. So this is the time to really pay attention to what they do and don't have. And my note to close out, because we are going to say goodbye to Mel shortly. The last note I'm going to say is count how many times everybody has said, I hit him. How many times do they say it? All of them so far.
What's the word?
I hit him.
And they
I
said
hit
3
him.
times.
Right. So keep an eye on Lally's closing statements. All right.
I will.
Because shit goes weird right towards the end there. So that and the timeline in closing statements are the key things to watch out for. Thank you very much for giving us.
Thank you guys so much. Everyone who has commented on my page on X, who's giving me information, because I'm live tweeting with the trial. I do go back and I'm responding and looking at the messages because you guys are helping me kind of sort through. It's a lot of information. So thank you. And Aussie, thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
We love it. And it's been a treasure watching you react. and on X specifically, but also your reactions in your streams as well. I don't often chat, but I
Oh,
do
thank
watch it
you.
often. So it's been good fun watching you and your listeners react to things the same way
Yeah.
that we have all been reacting. It's validating for us that other people coming into it without knowing anything are seeing and feeling the same thing. So we really
Thank
appreciate you
you.
coming along and
And I appreciate you
talking
guys.
about it
Thank you
with us.
so much.
Can we get
Yeah,
you
just let me
back
know. Message me. I'll be back.
at the end of the
I'll be
trial?
done this week.
We got so much longer. Yes. All right. So we'll keep an eye on your stream, and when you're getting close to the end, we'll
Awesome.
book you again. How's
Awesome.
that?
Thank you, guys. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Thanks for having me.
Say
Bye,
bye to Melly,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
So guys, that was a bit of fun, right? Thank you to Mel's chat for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you all here. Sorry I had it subscribe first when you first all joined. We were going to turn that off before so that you all could get in straight away, but kind of got a little sidetracked with the bot misbehaving. So it's been absolute pleasure having you all here. Pleasure having Mel on. Massive thank you from the mods to Mel and the Millionaires for joining us tonight. And oh my God, I can't wait to have her on again so we can see how she feels about the actual evidence that they think they've got against Karen. This is going to be fun because like she's just getting to that part now. So, the questions were mostly driven by you guys, like watching your responses to her comments and stuff on Twitter. So I kind of had a roadmap from all of you guys. So don't worry about the bot. Ugh. Well, actually, Kevy was going to rely heavily on the bot. It was to help the mods out more than anything with the bot. So it's just not cooperating right now. We'll work it out, though. What we can do, if we're all done here with questions and stuff, we can actually play with the bot a bit more. Let me go and unblock the bot. You just want to watch me and Kevy scream at the bot for a couple of minutes? How about we do that? Where do I unblock the bot? Not there. Let me go and work out where I've got to go to unblock the bot. I told Kev to block him, but I don't think he could, so I ended up doing it. And so I think it's in here somewhere. There we go. Unblock the bot. There we go. Oh, wait. Did I unblock it or did I unmod it? Hang on. Shit. Oh, crap. I unmodded the bot. Oh, my God. Hang on. I messed up. All right. I'm going to have to do this offline again and work out how to put the bot back. I just unmodded, not unblocked. Ah! Get that bot. No, I screwed it. Free the bot. Oh, my goodness. All right. So when I blocked it, it said blocked. It did say blocked. Yeah, and then it kept blabbering. So then I blocked it. Oh, my God. I have a feeling, Kev, that because I'm not on a paid restream account, that our control over the bot is minimal. I think you might get more control over the bot if you have a paid account, which I don't want to do. As you all know, or some of you might not know because you're new to the channel, I'm building a house and I'm trying to like cancel subscriptions, not join them right now because I want to build my house. I've got to spend a lot of money on the house. So I have one more step before my paperwork gets lodged. Yay. So that's all going to be free the butt, Harley. Bolo on the bot. That's exactly it. Bolo on the bot. So yeah, the trial's going to be starting right when things ramp up with my house. So you're going to have to tune into one of our lovely law tubers to watch it if you want to interact with the crowd. You can watch it like without any commentary directly through Law and Crime Network or Court TV, but it's boring and their chat is awful. People are just hell nasty in the chats over there. So if you want a nice crowd, I recommend Melanie Little while watching the trial, but you've got to expect that she's going to give you commentary. It's not just straight stealing someone else's stream like Law and Crime or Court TV. Or it's polite if you're going to use someone else's stream. It's polite to give commentary, and that also fits into fair use if you are giving commentary. So I do recommend, if you do watch the trial through one of the law tubers, don't get up their asses for giving commentary, because that is part of fair use. That's what they have to do by law if they're going to use someone else's stream. So thank you, Harley, for the super chat. A little pear character dancing, and you probably can see it in the chat. I can't see it in this chat over this side. So you like Melanie, but Runkle's your favorite. Runkle's my favorite too, but I don't know that he has time to do the lives, like doing it live. He will come back and do it after, when he's finished work and when he's got time. He will come back and stream, the court hearing for that day or whatever. So that is the other downside with some of the law tubers. They do have day jobs, so they don't do it live. The ones that I do know are actually covering it live are Andrea Burkhart, I think, is doing it live this time. But also bear in mind that she's an appellate attorney, and she runs her own business as well. So she may not be doing it live every day. Melanie Little, definitely every day. Help me out, guys. Emily D. Baker every day. Let me have a look at my list of law tubers that we often feature, and I can give you who might else be doing it. Probably Larry, but again, runs his own business, so he might be on top of it one day and then having to do it after work the next day. Pete, lawyer, again, runs his own business, family business, so he will often do recaps. Ian Runkle, Bob and Ali probably will be watching most of the trial, but again, they have their own law businesses. So the ones that I do know, Andrea Burkhart and Melanie Little, they're free, I think, as far as I've heard so far, and they will be doing it. Broken Baker is another one. He's part of the law tube community, but Broken Baker is a little bit of an odd sock to fit in there because he's not one of the lawyers. He's actually a permanent, in Denmark, they have permanent juries. So that way they can be experienced at being jurors and know how juries are supposed to do things. So, but he's a permanent juror in Denmark, so he often gets included in the law tube community for that reason. So Justice TV is a great one. I think that they will try to cover it as well. Harley likes the small channels because then the chat doesn't zoom a loom. I can't do the zoomy chats. Some of them are way too fast for me too. So brother Counsel, Brother Johnson does great recaps. Is that Brother Counsel? I think you might be mixing up, or I don't know who you're talking about. But Brother Counsel is definitely going to be covering it, but again has a law business to run. So just remember that some of them can only do recaps or watch after work. So if you want to watch it live while it's unfolding. Personally, I think I will sleep normal hours through this trial and then watch it the next day, because I like it when I can just fast forward through all the breaks, and then the things where Lally's droning on will be Breenan droning on this time, but I like to be able to fast forward through some bits. So I think I might not be streaming anything, trying to get my house sorted for the build to start happening. And then, yeah, do some recaps. For those who don't know, probably my biggest thing is the mashup. So I like to watch all the LawTubes reactions to stuff. And if they have a funny reaction to something, I like jam it all together into a mashup. The LawTube mashups are actually pretty funny. They generally do all react to the same things. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have different reactions to different things. So the LawTube mashups are pretty much how did each of them react to certain things, especially the funny parts. So I like to do those as well during the trial and after trial. We're doing those pre-trial right now. So fermented fruit juice mostly is our in-house comedian Glenn Lake. But yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be doing from next week. So I'm guessing we've only got 6 more jurors to seat. I'm hoping they seat them this week, and we will be kicking off like Tuesday next week. So yes, an update for my house. At the moment, there are no updates to give. I got held up. We had a cyclone come through and destroy southeast Queensland, so everyone's just recovering from that. We've still got floods happening all around the joint because of that, like the rain depression that it left behind. So not a lot happening on the house front. Can't really dig holes or do much in the mud. So but yes, I got my excavator. I finally got my excavator. It's kind of sitting on my trailer still because the ground is too wet and muddy to get it off the trailer. I don't have any concrete here to get it off the trailer. So the excavator is going to be a fun toy to play with. Carrie would like video footage of me learning how to use the excavator. So that's probably going to be up next. Me like destroying, hopefully not the trailer or the car, but destroying this with the excavator. So so that's the rundown for the next trial. I won't be tuning in every day, but I will be following it, and I will be with you in the chats. Probably Andrea and Melanie, I would say. Occasionally EDB, Emily DeBaker. So yes, please. Absolutely, Kerry. I know you're keen for it. So Kerry's privy to some of the crazy ideas I have in the background of what I'm going to use the excavator for. So he wants videos of everything. Some of the ideas are not excavator, are not usual functions for excavators, but I gotta make the most of having it, right? Because I'm short, I need it to help me reach things. So the excavator will be doing some things that you might not expect excavators to normally do. It's going to be epic with Breenan for sure. It is. Oh, Harley, I wish I had someone to bloody just do the driving bit for me. It's going to be fun. I'm a little bit nervous because when I get on the controllers on the game machine, on the gaming whatever, the controllers mess me up. And it's the same thing. You got like a couple of sticks to control it with. And so I am likely going to be destroying stuff. Right, it's going to be like a part-time cherry picker kind of. So what I am going to be destroying stuff, learning how to do this. Like just given how I am with a new game and learning the controller gadget. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of fun. But oh man, wouldn't it be awesome if you could hook it up to your controller? Because like what you already got, the functions worked out on your Game Boy or whatever controller. It would be good if you could just hook that up. I play games on my actual laptop with a PS2 type controller. So because I'm used to that, I think I actually would be more comfortable not being in the excavator and just standing there controlling it. But anyway, it'll be fun. And it's going to be a lot of things. It's going to be a cherry picker. It's going to be lifting up heavy things for us. It's going to be digging our holes. It's going to be holding onto things that I don't have the elbow grease to hang on to, like the hole digger, for example. Even though you can get an attachment for the hole digger, their attachment's too small. Like the biggest attachment I can put on it is way smaller than the holes my engineer wants me to dig. So I had to go and buy another hole digger, which I am going to somehow strap onto the bucket and dig holes that way. I'm also going to like attach a boom to it so that I can lift things up high that I actually can't reach. And I don't have to buy scaffolding for this job. So those are the things that we're going to be doing. Women can't do anything. This is how you learn, right? Screwing stuff up. Exactly, Harley. I think I'll be right. I'm pretty comfortable with some things machinery wise. Like I'm okay on a lawnmower. I can handle most of my power tools. Some of them I'm a bit afraid of, like the table saw. I'm afraid of that. I've actually I've taken it out of its wrapper and that's it. So, because I'm afraid of it, never actually cut anything with it. Had it for about 2 years now and still haven't cut anything. But I won't be doing anything too crazy with it. I think, given the ideas I've come up with, I think Kev's worried I'm going to get a bit too crazy and do some weird things that are not kosher. But it'll be coming in handy. It'll be doing a lot of things that I can't. So I don't have a very good strong grip to pick things up, to move things around. So, you know, I'm still looking at extra tools and things for doing the inside, like picking up sheets of gyprock, or what do you call it? Drywall, I think you guys call it. Scaffolding is what's the word for that in America? What's scaffolding in America, Kev? Prince lover, you know what that is. Scaffolding in America is, hang on, I'll get a picture on the screen so you're not confused. Scaffolding. Let's get some pictures up. Images. There we go. Share screen. You'll all know exactly what it is when you see it, but I don't know what you call it in America. What do you call that in America? Yeah, Prince Lower says it's scaffolding as well. Glen Lake scaffolding. Right. I thought I knew what I was talking about. It is called that there as well. You guys have different words for different things over there. So one that confuses everybody is when I say bitumen. You guys have no idea what I mean when I say bitumen. So let me show you that one. I forget what you guys call it. What do you call bitumen? Asphalt. There you go. You guys call it asphalt. So there you go. So we do have, you know, different words for different things over here. Confuses people sometimes. So I don't want to buy scaffolding. I really want to just stick with doing what I can with. So I have 2 ladders and a board between them, which is, you know, kind of the same. Probably not as secure as scaffolding, but scaffolding here in Australia is expensive. Even to hire it is expensive. So for lifting things up high, we're going to rely on the excavator. If it doesn't lift it high enough, we are going to go. You guys are cracking me up. If we've got to lift things higher than the excavator can reach, we're going to stick a boom on it. But it'll be a bush job. Let's say that. And a bush job in Australia means improvisation. We'll be improvising a lot with this we'll be improvising a lot with the excavator. It's only a mini excavator, so I think the max height it can reach is 2.4 meters. That's its dumping height. If you're picking up dirt and dumping it into a truck, for example, it can only reach 2.4 meters safely. But we're going to make it reach a little higher with a boom, probably bolt or strap, or obviously I'm going to have to get some equipment so that we can do some welding and make up some gadgets and all sorts of stuff. But that's all down the track at this stage. The first thing we need to do is dig some freaking holes. We need to get our paperwork in and dig some holes. So part of that will be leveling the block. I don't want to level it out completely. Right now it's draining off. When it rains, it drains off into the council waterway the way it's supposed to. If we level it, we have to change all of that and add some extra shit I don't want to add. So we're probably not going to level it, but we're going to make it so that at least the excavator doesn't tip over. That's probably the best we're going to get in leveling, but that's what the excavator's main job will be. My dad's a bushy. He fixes everything himself. Never hired anyone. No need to rig it. Right. I'm very much an improvisation person. I don't like to go, oh, you know what? You can just hire someone to come out and do that for $3,000. If I can improvise and do it for 50. And that's the bottom line. So correct, Prince Lover, draining is critical, which is why I'm not going to level the block. I'm going to let it keep its natural draining the way it's going. So the house is going on stilts, so the block can remain in its natural state as much as possible. We do have to push a couple of trees down. Hopefully that's getting done as we speak. It's Wednesday. Oh my God, it's getting done as we speak, I think. Let me just go check. I think that's what they're doing today. Well, they're probably not pushing trees down today, but we are definitely raising it back to dirt today. So that job's getting done. I am hiring someone to do that. So that's getting done. A bushy. Yep, we're bushies here. A bushy just means you live in the bush, so you can't just hire people. So you just got to work shit out because you're a bushy and you got to improvise. Priscilla, yes, I thought so. It's all about the drainage. Indeed it is. So yeah, we got a company out there today called Dirt Monkeys. I love it. Dirt Monkeys. Hopefully they're taking it back to dirt today, and that's kind of the beginning of the beginning of the work that we're actually doing on the block. So in Queensland, you're not allowed to even mow your block until you've got your paperwork in. You got to tell them what trees you're taking down, why you're taking them down, what part of the property they're on. You got to do the whole route, or your layout, or your drainage. You got to have all that before you even start mowing the block. But I was very lucky because of Cyclone Alfred coming through. The fireys went out and did a whole bunch of assessments on blocks for, dangerous trees and fire assessment. And we all got sent notices that we have to clear our blocks. So, yay. We've got the council saying, no, you can't clear your block. But now we've got notices from the fireys saying, well, which is also the government, by the way. It's actually the Queensland government, not the local council. So, yeah, we have to clear our blocks. So clearing it we shall without paperwork. So that was a bit of a bonus. I was pleased with that. The stress was that I couldn't get up there because my car was pinned under a tree for a little bit when that fire notice was due. That became an issue. So I ended up getting an extension on the fire notice. So, and then I had to find someone who wasn't already busy cleaning up from Cyclone Alfred to go and do the work. So explain what the tree did to you exactly. Show me where the tree hurt you. Do you really want me to show you where the tree hurt me? Because the tree did hurt me. I can show you where the tree hurt me. It got me a good one. Hang on. I think I have to do it this way. Open it first and then share it. Me. Here we are. Yes, open all of those. The tree got me a good one. Open with preview app. And now share the preview app, right? Sorry, guys. I'm getting there. There you go. She got me. 2 trees got me. So what happened was, way over here in this part of the forest, way the hell back a bit, an old tree got wet roots and it fell over. And then it fell onto another tree, which is out here in the background that you can't see. And that fell on another tree. So we had this like domino effect. These last 2, so they were falling this way. Those other trees all fell that way. But the last one caught these 2 trees and they fell this way, straight onto my car. And I had only just pulled up there and got out of it. Like, it was maybe a couple of hours before that. I just pulled up there because I had the excavator under my awning, under my usual carport spot where I'd normally park. So this was like, our driveway's kind of here. This was get off the driveway and we'll sort out later where I'm going to park because the excavator's taken up my spot, and then crash. So yeah, she got me. She got me a beauty. So obviously this was after the SES had come out and trimmed some of the trash off the ends for us, but she got me a ripper. So it smashed my windscreen. It dinged the windscreen fin, like the thing that the windscreen sits on. So we had to do a little bit of pole beating to get a new windscreen in. Dinged up all my bonnet. There's a ding here. There's a couple of dings there. But I actually pulled up all right. I pulled up okay, considering, because like I seen a car with the same size but only 1 tree, and it actually bananaed the car. So I know, probably lucky that it hit there and not sort of, in the seating area. It might have done a lot more damage. But also the trees came down slowly. The wind hadn't kicked off yet. So wet roots pulled the first one down. This was a slow domino thing. Whereas, the trees that took out cars in up the coast there, they had 100-kilometre-an-hour winds behind them, 120 some of it. So but yeah, that's what happened. That's where the tree got me, Glenn. That weed is a little big for goats. Not sure what weed you're talking about, but I will remind you all, we live in a rainforest, so yes, there's a lot of weeds and trees and shit. Now it looks like a farm truck, right? The dings turned it into a farm truck. Up till that point, I was scared to take it 4-wheel driving because, it had pretty good bodywork, no rust, still looks all right. But now it's a bit dinged up. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. We can go 4-wheel driving now. So yeah, that's where the tree touched me, Glenn. I'm gonna stop that now. So there you go. Hey Tina, thanks for joining us. Anyway, that's the news from this end. Don't have much else to tell you right now. I think we've got 10 jurors seated for the trial next week. That's going ahead. Oh yeah, we actually do have all the evidence from the Abigail Williams and Liberty German murders, the Delphi murders, have been unsealed or are getting unsealed bit by bit. So that's all dropping right now, which is interesting because I'm telling you guys, what I'm hearing in those phone call confessions is not a crazy dude who's doped up on meds, blithering things that don't make sense. That's not what I'm hearing. I actually, what I'm hearing is he's very calm, he's very cool, he's very collected. He's trying to tell his wife and his mum that he done it, but they don't want to hear it. They're saying, shut up, don't say that on a recorded line, stop it. So, plus I think there's a bit of denial playing in there, but I'm not hearing what others are putting out there. It's weird. It's a lot of evidence coming out. So yeah, if you guys are interested, so far as I know, only one person has got their hands on it. It should be dropping everywhere. But let me drop it in the chat and pin it. So if you all want to go and have a listen to the confession calls and all that sort of stuff, you can go and have a listen over on this channel. Now, I do believe that he's not playing all of it all the way through. He's just playing the main bits that you want to hear. I do believe eventually it will come up. Someone will be posting it eventually after they're finished, doing their reviews on it, I guess. Like, the dude paid for it. So there it is, and I'm pinning it now. The dude paid for this stuff, so, he has a right to do the reviews on it first before he lets everyone get their hands on it, because it came out of his pocket. So let him do it. This is what he is covering, just the main topics on what's in there so far in that package that he got. There is more coming. I think there's more getting released every day. The judge is going through it, doing reductions and trying to protect those two girls so that, stuff isn't coming out where everyone's just going to sit there and be gawking at their poor little broken naked bodies. So, but it's all coming out slowly now, which I expected. I knew it would happen after the trial. The fact that it didn't before the trial was really trying to make sure that those two little girls and Richard Allen all got their fair trial. So, but I'm not feeling it. Not feeling what other people are feeling. I'm kind of feeling like that's the voice that we hear from Bridge Guy. First thing, as soon as I hit the play button and he was the first conversation with his wife, I went, that's him. That's the voice. That's Bridge Guy. And then he starts like confessing. He's not a blithering idiot. He's actually knows exactly what he's saying. It's his wife and his mum saying, stop it, don't talk on this recorded phone line, don't do it, shush, stop it, trying to shut him up. Because they understood the implications. So it's good to have the evidence to look at now. So I don't know, a lot of people are in agreement with me now. A lot weren't, but a lot more are hearing it and understanding that he's not coming across as innocent as everyone was painting him to be. Cigarette and coffee break. Good. Sorry to everyone who I made light up just now. I was very good with Mel. I tried not to smoke while she was on so that she didn't hear me making the noises. So yeah. So that's what's happening with the Delphi case. He's currently being exposed for the fraud that he is, in my opinion, obviously. And I'm not hearing the he's a crazy dude. And also his car. Oh my God. Let me show you the animation. Let me show you what I made with the car. Like, we didn't know what they had with the car. But I made this yesterday. Where the hell is it? 903. It must be this one. So I made this yesterday, just a little animation to take, just because it's gaslighting. If you're trying to tell me that this is not his car, it's gaslighting. So this here is the grainy footage that was filmed like from way back from a distance of his car going past the Hoover, no, whatever it was, the store, the Hoosier. I can't even remember the name of it. But that camera that filmed his car going past. And then, so I just wanted to look up whether the car he admitted that he had in the interrogation matched what this car looks like. But because you can't really see this car, because it is a bit grainy, it looks like they've clipped it and zoomed in. So that's why it's all square and pixelated. But anyway, here's the animation that I made for it. That's the car he said he had. And that's the car that they've caught on the camera, on the CCTV. So yeah, that's the car, right? So yeah, people are upset about this grainy image of the car being used to prove it's his car. But look, I didn't need to be a special car expert to show you that that's the freaking car, right? I mean, even this part of the bonnet, like it's got a little bit of a scoopy thing on the bonnet. Look, see the scoopy thing on the bonnet? Even that matches up. The only thing I'm not sure about, because it looks blended into the background, is where it's got this tail fin. But, you know, like even how that back bit goes like that, that's his car. So, yeah, I'm done. I'm done thinking that he could be innocent. He's not innocent. There's too much. His voice matches. He admits in the interrogation that he had a blue Carhartt jacket or even a lookalike like that. It's too far. It is too far. They're never going to be able to put forward their case, Opal, because you can't just say based on hearsay that you got a third party defense. It can't be just based on hearsay. Like, and I keep telling people this, in Karen Reid's trial, there is actual evidence that John was in that house. There was actual evidence that he was dropped off there. There's actual evidence that he was found on that front lawn that belonged to the Alberts. So that's why they can put forward their third party case, because that evidence proves they have a third party case. Whereas Richard Allen's is all based on hearsay. So-and-so said to so-and-so, oh, I heard so-and-so say, none of that counts. That's not evidence. So I don't believe that RA's investigation was tainted way more than Karen's. You obviously aren't understanding how the law works, if that's what you believe. So, you know, the judge in Richard Allen's trial did try to hold on to things too tightly, like control things in the courtroom too tightly. The prison did mistreat him. I give you all of that, but that doesn't make him innocent. And what I'm hearing is his voice matches Bridge Guy. I'm hearing not his voice admitting to this in a blubbering mental state. He's actually very calm, collected. He knows what he's doing. He's speaking clearly. He's not slurred. He gets upset at some stage because he thinks the family are going to judge him knowing that he did it. But he's definitely with it. And all I'm hearing from the family is, stop it. Stop confessing on a recorded phone line. That's all I'm hearing. So, yeah, it's not supporting the case that he's innocent at all. There's not supporting the case. There's nothing supporting the case that he's innocent. So there's just way too much that points to his guilt. And everything that points to otherwise is hearsay. There's no physical evidence that points to anything otherwise. So anyway, I'm enjoying watching the evidence come out. I'm enjoying the fact that people can now see with their own eyes that the things that he said and did are what the jury made their decision on, not what Judge Gull was saying or doing. She wasn't trying to stop the jury from asking questions. Like, how many questions did the jury and Karen Reid get to ask? You know, she answered one or two, and that was it. The most important question that they wanted to ask her was, how do we fill out this jury form to show that we voted not guilty on counts 1 and 2 and 3? That was the most important freaking question, and I never got to the judge. So you cannot tell me that Karen Reid's getting a fairer trial than Richard Allen is. Like, that's just complete BS. Judge Gull didn't not allow the defense to voir dire the jury. They got a fair opportunity to voir dire that jury. They got a fair opportunity to ask questions to the jury themselves. Karen Reid's not getting any of that. The judge herself is sitting there going, in Karen Reid's case, the judge herself is sitting there asking the fucking questions. That's not a fair jury. What are you calling it? What are we calling it? Jury picking? I've forgotten the word. It fell out of my head. There's nothing fair about Karen's. Did Judge Gull ever sit there and say to the prosecution, oh, would you like to object now? Did Judge Gull even allow the objections to be spoken? Objection, hearsay. Yes, she did. So you cannot tell me that Richard Allen is getting a far worse fair trial than Karen Reid. Sorry, it's not gelling for me, baby. There's a lot more, because we, on my channel, we dig in very, very deep into the bias of Judge Bev and what actually is bias. Yes, thank you, Harley. Jury selection. You got me. You guys knew what I meant, right? The judicial bias in Karen Reid's case is so far over the top. There's ruling constantly in favor of the Commonwealth, covering for the Commonwealth, like the dismiss. Okay, the motion to dismiss. Everything she said in there was incorrect. She misquoted specific law in this trial so that she could support the Commonwealth's theory. I didn't see Judge Gull doing any of that. Yes, Judge Gull was an arsehole to some people, but I didn't see Judge Gull doing that shit. So I don't defend Judge Gull in the sense that there's a lot of things I felt she just had too tight a grip, and that made it appear like she was biased. So even the appearance of impropriety is still impropriety, I guess. So I do support what people say about that she wouldn't let the public in there. I feel that she could have controlled how to protect the girls and the family while still allowing, the pool cameras and whatnot. Or even just audio. Even if she just allowed audio stream, that would have been better. So there is a lot there that I think Judge Gull could have done better. I don't think any judge is perfect, because they're humans just like the rest of us. And I do believe that he was mistreated in the prison, but we're talking 7 years after the fact. So what he said to the police 7 years beforehand He gave him a false address. He told him that he was there. He told him he saw the girls there that all said they saw him there. So you're not relying on the witnesses saying he wore blah, 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 blah and looked like this. He actually corroborated the witnesses by saying that he saw them. So no matter whether they got his description right or wrong, he saw them. He puts himself there at that time. So it's all looking like the jury, they've only got the evidence that was put in front of them. From that evidence, the jury got it right. So Andrea Burkhart has a different way of viewing it because she has a personal issue with Judge Gull and the way things were run and the way that all went down. But Andrea's all procedural. Her issues are all procedural issues. And I'm not going to comment on the procedural issues in that case because I didn't deep dive those procedural issues. The deep dives I did on the procedural issues were in the Karen Reid case. The reason I'm doing that is because I saw the impact that Andrea had talking about the procedural issues with Judge Gull. So that's the reason that I'm doing it in this trial, because we don't have any commentary yet of anybody pointing out those procedural issues or challenging those procedural issues. Andrea certainly has a lot to say about it, but I think she's been a bit too busy to do as deep commentary as she did on the Richard Allen trial. And here's a shocker. Andrea and I are absolutely on complete opposite ends with the Richard Allen thing, but guess what? We're fine with that. I'm fine that she's on the opposite end. She's fine that I'm on the opposite end, and we don't fight about it. We don't argue about it. We've had a couple of conversations about, our differences of opinion. That's it. And that's the way it should be. We don't need to be mean to each other because someone doesn't agree with you. You don't need to be, well, that's it. I'm hanging up on this channel because they don't agree with me. That's ridiculous. Like, grow up. Act like an adult. But on the same token, I do believe that the evidence that the jury saw was enough evidence to convict him and that was a fair trial. I do believe that. I don't believe that the people that I watched from day dot when those girls were first discovered and supported that family or the two families, I don't believe those people who were supporting those families did anything but support those families. I don't believe they targeted Richard Allen from 7 years ago, day dot. Otherwise, how else did they somehow lose his information? And someone else ended up digging it up and working out that he gave him a false address. That's not targeting Richard Allen. That's not a targeting at all. It's 7 years later when someone says, hey, this dude lied about his address, that the red flag's raised. No, I don't think that was unfair. I think that was all par for the course. I think that the McClellan and the cops who supported that family that I watched over 7 years, they were always looking after that family. And if that annoys people, that the family were treated like with respect, which is not often you see the cops treat the family with respect. Often the cops will just be like, we're not giving you any information. We're not answering your calls. Go away. And your family, that you just talk with Sandra Birchmore's family or Justin Root's family. Look at Enrique Delgado Garcia's family. They still haven't been told what happened to him. So if you want me to disrespect cops that actually did the right thing by the deceased families, no, I'm not going to do that at all. Like, you can question how they did something, why they did something. That's fine. But you don't have to hate on them because they were decent. They were decent to that family. And that's all I ever saw from them was them being decent. Anyway, moving along. That's the Richard Allen stuff coming out. I suggest you all go watch it. I think minds might be changed by listening to it. If you are not open to another version of your own opinion, then don't go watch it because you're not open to it. For me personally, I'm open to change my mind. I actually started out thinking that, what's his name, Chubby Chops, that freaking catfished him. I thought he was the dude. I thought he might have been Bridge Guy. The reason that I couldn't get to he has to be Bridge Guy is because we weren't getting any information about his size, height, weight, shape. We weren't getting any information from that. We did get information about Richard Allen's height because he blah 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 about his license. So we got his height and we were able to match that to Bridge Guy's height with actual CAD software, which is accurate down to the millimeter. So in the CAD software, that was Richard Allen. We never got guys, help me out. Who's the chubby guy that they caught? Yeah, the big guy. That one. What's his name? He's taller and fatter than Richard Allen anyway, and so he didn't fit the description. He didn't fit the picture that was on the screen. But anyway, so what was I going on with? Right, so I ended up changing my mind. I started out thinking that first guy they caught with the porn stuff on his phones and everything, I thought he was the dude. He was going down. He was going to somehow be linked to this. He arranged to meet them on the bridge that day. I still think now he has to have something to do with it. Like, if he's the one that got them to go to the bridge that day, then what? It's just coincidence that Richard Allen turns up? I don't think so. Keegan Klein. Thank you, Mr. M. Brain blank. Thank you for that. So I still think that Keegan Klein had something to do with getting the girls there, and he has something to do with Richard Allen because they were both in the same place at the same time. Their phones pinged in the same place at the same time before the murders, same township. When Richard Allen said he was visiting his mum, he was a couple of doors over from where Keegan Klein was sitting. So I still think that those aren't coincidences, but because there was no actual evidence that was solid that they could use in the trial, that they decided not to introduce it at trial. Sometimes when you got weak links, it's best to leave them out. So that's the way I would probably look at it. But anyway, moving on. If you're not open to being able to change your mind, then don't bother looking at what evidence released. If you've got your mind set, he has to be innocent. Everyone told you so. You listen to all the people coming back from the court telling you the stories, and you believe their stories, and you don't want to see the evidence. Don't do it. Don't go look at the evidence. But if you have an open mind and you're interested in what the evidence was that the jury got to see, I fully recommend go and have a look at the evidence and see what you come up with. So I think that there's too much that removes doubt that he's the dude. And a lot of people are now just saying Richard Allen and not Bridge Guy anymore. We don't need to use the word Bridge Guy anymore. It is Richard Allen. So as soon as I heard his voice, though, that one sealed it for me. The second he opened his mouth, because I'd never heard his voice before. I think I'd heard snippets, like really short sound bites on Gray's channel where he played the voice. I don't know where he got that from, though, or that it was even his voice. So until I heard him actually on the phone with his wife, that I was okay, the jury's got it right. From all the evidence I'm hearing, the jury's got it right. Moving right along. Then I hear his voice. I'm like, yep, I'm 100% now. There's absolutely no doubt now. That's his voice. So, yeah, I just don't think there's any reasonable doubt at all. And everything else that everyone's jumping up and down about is hearsay. It's not actual evidence. And, you can't use hearsay in court. You can't use it to support a third-party culprit argument. So I can't disagree with Judge Gull on that one issue. But I tell you what I did think was great. She screwed up. She shouldn't have fired his lawyers. She screwed up. And what I did find great was the appellate court slapped her back down again and said, give him back his lawyers. So that I thought that was good, a good example of the system doing what it's supposed to do. She screwed it up. She overstepped her power or abused her power and fired his lawyers. And then the appellate court part of the system, this is what Andrea does, came back and said, no, we rule in favor of the defendant. You can have your lawyers back. The judge was wrong to do that. She had other options. That's how the law is supposed to work. How it's not supposed to work is what's happening in Karen Reid's case. So, hey, Corn Pope, you missed the show. You'll have to be a replay crew. But yeah. So essentially, Corn Pope's another one who, like me, she's not closed to changing her mind. She can change her mind. So there was some things that her and I were talking about, sort of just on X and in DMs and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, I'm so this way thinking," and then she heard different evidence. She was like, "Oh, wow, I'm so not that way thinking now." That made me actually question what I was thinking. So that's what you need to do if you're going to watch trials and come into things with an open mind. Essentially, if you're looking at a trial as being a juror, that's the way you need to do it. So calling out Corn Pope for that. She's one of the few I know who can do it. Same with Kevy here, and also my other mod Prince. They're all very adept at reading the evidence and not having their mind set. So today I am going to give Corn Pope a wrench because she earned it. And that's how she earned it. For those who wonder how I hand out wrenches. First of all, she didn't ask for it. Second of all, she proved to me that she has an open mind, that she can change her mind. Once she's thinking one thing, she can change tracks given the evidence. So, and she loves a good debate. So there you go. That's how you earn a wrench on my channel. I love information too. I'm always open to more and more information. So, I mean, we're still learning stuff about the evidence in Karen Reid's trial. So, you know, what Mel's learning right now from trial 1.0, we know so much more than that because of pre-trial 2.0. So, I mean, there's a lot of that evidence we've had to actually switch our thinking on as well. You know, we don't believe Breenan on a lot of shit that he says, but then we choose to believe Breenan on, you know, some particular detail. Well, rather than doing that, I would rather, okay, what if he's credible with that? What else supports it? And go and look at the rest of the information or go and research it to see what else supports it. And then I might believe Breenan. And so that's kind of how I approach the Delphi trial thing. Always from 7 years ago when I first started watching it up till present. So you guys probably didn't, well, I'll say the people that hung me for not taking his side during the trial didn't realize that I'd been watching it the whole time. I hadn't covered it on my channel, but I had followed every single detail from every social media post from the families, every piece of information by the police, every spec that ever came out through all of the different channels covering it. There was nothing that came out in that trial that surprised me except evidence that nobody had. So, you know, to be able to change my mind, like when I did change my mind after Keegan Kline, I was so sold on Keegan Kline, like serious, I was. I had so many theories on Keegan Kline, and I was deep diving the Keegan Kline data, trying to get more and more information on the Keegan Kline data, which never came to fruition. So, But yeah, that's what you need to do if you're following any case. You need to be able to switch tacks and understand that the evidence doesn't support the original thought that you had. So the link that's attached, the link that's pinned to the top of the chat here, this is to go and watch what is coming out in that Delphi case. But if you don't have an open mind, don't go watch it because it'll just piss you off. And then you'll be angry at the person who's showing it to you and not what's actually being shown to you. So that's kind of par for the course with this case. So if that was for you, oh man, his voice. Compope, you haven't heard his voice yet. Like, absolutely. That's a number one fact for me too. His height is very rare, and the dude on the bridge, according to the CAD software, matches his height. But here's the thing, go listen to his voice. As soon as he starts talking to his wife, it's like, oh my God, done. So, yes. All right. I'm done nagging yous to go watch or not watch the Richard Allen stuff. It's very interesting to see all the evidence after everyone has had their say on what they witnessed in court. Now we're getting to see what they witnessed in court and whether that aligns with what they said they witnessed in court. Does that make sense? The only one that's matching up like word for word right now is Andrea Burkhart. And I never had any doubt at all that Andrea Burkhart was telling the truth about what she saw in court. So that doesn't surprise me. But there are other people who had interpretations of things they said they were seeing in court that doesn't match what's coming out in the evidence now. So that's been interesting. And I'm not going to be, mean towards them or hateful towards them. I'm just noting this person said they saw blah, blah, but now we're looking at it. That's not what we're seeing here. So that main one was the car. So since Corn Pope has just joined us, and she was, in fact, hang on, where is it? Did I close it? She was, in fact, part of that little conversation we had about the car. So I'm just going to pop it back up on the screen for her to have a look at. Because she only just got here. One more time with the car. Like, how much gaslighting do we need? You're watching, Corny? Watch this. That's not my car. Isn't that your car? No, that one there, that's not my car. Yeah, but that one there, that is my car. Oh my God. Talk about gaslighting. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his freaking car. So that is one piece of evidence that they just released. Corn Pope, just so you know. I stopped watching it, but I would do it with you. Well, I stopped covering it because people were getting nasty, Harley. Like I made an excuse and said, look, it just triggers me too much. I can't do it. You're triggering me. I can't. Because I did have a family murder, and the way people argued and tried to defend him triggered me. So, but it was also a good excuse to stop covering it because I just couldn't do the level of fucking nasty and vitriol and bitching. I couldn't do it anymore. It was doing my head in. I had to stop. It was actually that triggered me more than anything else, but I had to stop. So it's really good to see the evidence coming out now. Because prior to this, it really was just everybody fucking arguing, right? We didn't know what evidence people were seeing in court or what was shown in court or what the jury got. Even what the spectators in the court, like in the gallery, got to see was still not as much as the jury got to see. The jury got way more than they did. There was some things that only the paid media, for example, got to see and everybody else didn't get to see. So even until all this unsealing started happening, even then it was still just going to be everybody bitching at each other. So to me, it just made more sense to just stop talking about it. Let's just put it away. Let's not do it anymore. Now we've got the evidence and we can actually say, well, look at this piece of evidence. This is what the jury saw. This is what I assumed they saw, because when it was described to me, that's how it was described. So yeah, people were relentless and they were rude about it as well. I still got people abusing me on X over it. So, you know, the other day, I think I saw a post, something about the way he was treated in prison. And I was like, that's a really good point. He was mistreated, but it doesn't make him innocent. Like, you can't use that as your argument that he has to be innocent because he was mistreated in prison, because it falls apart when the crime happened 7 years ago. He didn't get mistreated 7 years ago, right? You can't apply it to 7 years ago. That's why he's innocent. 7 years ago, he told the cops a bogus address because he got tortured in prison 7 years later. You get me? It doesn't fit. You know what I mean? So anyway, I made that comment and it triggered that person into a whole new fucking blue. So I'm just I'm just trying not to talk about it. It's what's up with that? It's really interesting to hear the lack of info from the trial that looked really unfair before. I think it was actually really fair. It made people doubt the prosecution, if anything, right. But now we're looking at it, we can see that it's actually more fair. Now we've got our own eyeballs on it and not just listening to somebody else tell the story. So, yes. But anyway. Yeah, it's interesting, right? It really is his car. Like I've put a lot of different cars that match the shape over that silhouette, but nothing matches it exactly like his car. It's crazy. There are a lot of different types of cars that were kind of that shape that could have matched, but when I put them over the silhouette, they just didn't fit. They were either taller, longer, different shape bonnet, different shape ass. So yeah, but as soon as I put the 2016, I forget what that is for. I forget what the type of car is. 2016 Ford Focus. As soon as I put that on there, bam, it matches exactly. I didn't have to do anything except resize the photo. But anyway, there's too much evidence that says yeah, and everything that's doubt is hearsay. And so that's where I think people actually don't understand the difference between how evidence is weighted, and it helps them to fall quickly to a side that is not weighted in evidence. But at the same time, most juries are like that. Like, not all juries understand how evidence is weighted either. So in that sense, they're not wrong. They're behaving much like, a portion of the jury is going to behave. But then you take into account that the jury actually did get a little bit more evidence than us did as onlookers. So I think that kind of seals up any of the holes we might have in thinking, oh, but there could have been this doubt, but the jury didn't have that doubt. Because they asked a lot of questions. It was for questions that the jury asked, it was like the most questions ever in any trial ever I've watched. I've never heard jury just like free reign on, get all your questions out right now. Here it is. You got the floor for like, what was it, half an hour or an hour? The jury could just free reign on all their questions. Never seen that before in a trial. Have any of you seen that before? Because that was a first for me. Considering we're sitting over here at Karen Reed's trial and we don't even get a freaking reason for objection. Anyway, I don't know if I am way ahead in the time to you guys or what's going on. Oh, I see. We've dropped back. Everyone's ready to sign off. Cool. Well, that's a good cue to go, right? It's a good cue to hang up. We're back down to 50 left in the chat. So lovely. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks again for Mel and her crew for joining us. Hope you all enjoyed Mel's introduction to what she's thinking about the case so far, and her feelings and opinions on what she's seen. She's up to Trooper Buchanan. She's halfway through Buchanan's testimony, halfway through Buchanan's cross right now. So, but yeah, in the sidebar, right, Kev. All right, Kev's got to go to bed. I've got to go get my day underway. It's midday now, so time to pull my finger out. 10:08 in Indiana. I think, oh, hang on. No, you're not, aren't you in France or something? Canada. There you go. One part was showing me the flag, the other one wasn't. In Canada. Yes, midday here too. All right, guys. That's it. Shall we go out with some music? Shall we? What shall we go out with today? What did we go out with last time? Let's go out with duck. Let's go out with why it's a duck. Where did the duck come from? A lot of people ask that. You know, what's the deal with the ducks? Why does everyone keep talking about the ducks? But I wrote a little tune on the AI so people understand what the heck the ducks have got to do with things. So let's share it. Let's go full screen. What the duck is what we're closing with. Bye, everyone. Be good. And I'll talk to you all again for, I guess, Mel's next stream. We will find out how she feels towards the end. Oh, wait a second. That's not working. I got it muted.
That is the Commonwealth grasping at straws. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck.
Judges gavel slams deceit, lawyers dance twist up their seat. Finger points truth in the air, crime scene chalk we got there. Witness falls under the glare, truth lies hidden but where? Evidence in shadow cracks, guilty walks with ducks in packs. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. If it quacks with a smack and waddles in the track, it's stuck. It circles round the facts, can't hide from the luck. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. Twist the tail, they change their tune. Photos snapped under the moon. Bloody prints and muddy paths, money trails that never last. Defendant's face behind a mask, justice chained up to the past. Solitary cell they spin, real truth trapped deep within. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. If it quacks with a smack and waddles in the track, it's stuck. It circles round the facts, can't hide from the luck. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck.